Friday, everyone. Welcome to another Friday night live stream. My name is Ron Henry, and I am here to answer your lawn care questions. You guys know how this works. You guys throw out some questions about what your plans are for this growing season. Any other questions you have around pre-emergence, top dressing, those types of things. And I will do my best to help out. Of course, questions about reel mowing is especially appreciated because, you know, that's something that's near and dear to my heart. And yeah, so let's see what we have, who we have in the live stream tonight. We got John Gotch. He's out of Lafayette. Sam's Outdoor. Striperman is here. Super TA saying that grass is still covered in snow. Yeah, for any of you guys that are in Texas, man, I hope any of the viewers that are in Texas, hope you guys are doing okay. You guys had a really nasty storm there, and yeah. Hopefully things are better from a standpoint of recovering. Yeah, things in Georgia are starting to look good. They're starting to look up, guys. It was in the low 50s today. The nights still get down into the 30s and, you know, sometimes 20s, but I mean, we're definitely trending in the right direction. I looked at the forecast of 10-day, and it's like we're looking at 10 over the next 10 days. The high is in the 50s or 60s, so we're definitely moving towards spring, which is awesome because I'm ready to get out there and start mowing, man. I know about you guys. I'm ready to get into it. Let's see who else we have here. Grace is in the live stream. Grace, thanks for coming and hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree that spring is just around the corner. At least in Georgia, I've already got the green fuzz kind of started to come through on the back lawn. So I'll probably go out and mow this weekend, just for the fun of it. Probably won't be I actually do my scalping until like March, a couple more weeks, but we're getting close. Assuming the weather holds out, we are definitely close. Let's see who else we have here. Papa Moslow got his Swardman arrived today. Excited. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Always like to hear when someone is getting some new lawn care equipment. Swardman's an awesome bit of kit. And yeah, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the live stream last weekend where we had Lee from Reel Rollers come on and take a lot of your questions around reel mowers. It was a really, really awesome show. You guys asked a lot of great questions, and hopefully that live stream is a great archive for anyone that has tons of questions around reel mowing. Lee's a great archive. He's not an archive. He's a great wealth of knowledge around reel mowers. So it was really nice of him to come on and hang out with us for a couple of hours and answer those questions. Let's see. Lawn to Learn says, if I look like the True Green guy on the YouTube commercials, I've not seen the True Green YouTube commercials. But yeah, I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Let's see. Papa Moslows talks about his reel mower setup. I asked him if what he got with his Swardman, because as you guys know, the Swardman you can get interchangeable cartridges, and in his case, he said he got the an extra reel for scalping and a scarifier, and he'll try cutting between 0.75 and 1 inch and see how that goes. That's a good idea, and that's actually smart. Getting an extra reel for scalping, so that way you can get out there, you can scalp with the Swardman, and then send that one off and get it sharpened up. Then you have a fresh reel to actually do your mowing with. And then when it gets back, you got another one you can swap. So you can swap in and out. It's actually a good idea. It's actually very, very, very smart. And then as far as a height of cut of like 0.75 to 1 inch, that's a really good height, man. I mean, I think 0.75 is probably the sane height in my mind when it comes to reel mowing. Once you go much below that, once you get to like half an inch, it's a real commitment. I mean, PGR in my mind is an absolute must at that point, and then you really just have to be mowing a lot. You have to really be able to commit to mowing several times a week to keep the lawn looking nice. So 0.75 is a really, really good height. Want to give a special thank you and shout out to Josh Habeeb. Josh, I don't know if you're in the live stream as yet, but as you guys can see, I'm wearing a different Stripe Action shirt. You see Stripe Action with a Greensmaster mower on it. This is really clean. I like it. Josh actually made this shirt and sent it to me. So thank you so much, sir. I truly appreciate it. It's an awesome, awesome gift. And it's kind of inspiring me. I got to up my game as far as the shirts. So I'm see about getting something new and fresh designed for you guys. So we'll have something cool. Because this is really cool. I'm definitely going to be wearing this throughout the season and whenever I mow and whatnot. So thank you so much, Josh. If you're on the live stream, I appreciate it. And whenever you chime in, if you come on, just know that I am wearing the shirt that you sent to me. So I really appreciate that. So let's see what our first questions are. Let's see. So the first one is from Bo. It's around pre-emergent. That's awesome. And if you guys have not done pre-emergent, if you're in the Southeast, if you're in Georgia, it's go time. Like you need to get it down because the temps are starting to trend up, and you want to get it down before you get into the 50s and 60s as far as soil temperature. Okay, so Bo's question is around pre-emergent. Pre-emergent Prodiamine. Do you know what does a full rate application mean? And he has a follow-up question. And he says, on the bottle it states 4 ounces, that doesn't sound right, 4 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Can I apply every 90 days? Do we have to use a scale to measure it since the water dispersal granule? Okay, so a lot going on there. So Bo, the application rate, so first of all, to answer your question, what full rate means, with Prodiamine, there is an annual limit that you're supposed to apply. For warm season grass, it's 0.83, if memory serves me correctly. I always say like 0.80 because it makes the math easier in the videos, but it's actually 0.83. And then for cool season grass, it's like just over half an ounce. I think it's like 0.55 or somewhere in that space. So what a full rate application, we'll take your first part of your question. What that means is, like you guys saw when I did Alex's lawn, like we're not going to put down pre-emergent, we're not going to do the split application. We put down full rate all at one time. So what that means is that we mix the product at a rate of in our case 0.80 per 1,000 square feet. So we've went to that annual limit for our spring application. So what full rate means is the manufacturer gives you a range of of effectiveness of lets you get, and a max of where you can go. So full rate is like what you saw in the video that I did to kind of keep things simple, and what we did on Alex's lawn, where we apply the product at 0.83 ounces per 1,000. So the next question that you had here around 4 ounces. Now, I think you might be confused because it's definitely not 4 ounces per 1,000 square feet for Prodiamine, not for the 65 water dispersible granule anyway. It should be, if you're using again, if you have a warm season grass, like 0.83 is the max you want to go. And the way you want to do that is by weight. So you want to get like a container. I don't have one here with me. Actually, it's in the bucket soaking. But yeah, you're gonna want a container. You're gonna want to get a container and put that on an ounce scale, like a kitchen scale or something like that, something that can measure ounces, like in fractions of an ounce precisely, and then weigh out, like pour the water dispersible granule in there and weigh it. So the way to do this, and if you have not seen the video that I did on applying pre-emergent, I'll see if I can find it here and link it in the chat for you, Bo. But the idea is that if you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, right, and you're applying the Prodiamine at a rate of 1 gallon, or you're spraying at a rate of 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet. So then that 4-gallon sprayer is going to cover 4,000 square feet. In that case, you would take if again, assuming we're doing a max rate application, you would take, like, we'll make the math simple, 0.80, and we'll multiply that times 4, because we're going to cover 4,000 square feet with this one sprayer, and that's going to be 3.2 ounces. So you take a container. I mean, this is a glass of water, but you take a container, something that's dedicated to that purpose, put it on a scale, zero it out, and then put in 3.2 ounces of Prodiamine. And then mix that and put it in the sprayer. So yeah, but definitely full rate is not 4 ounces per 1,000 square feet. And you can't really apply it every day, every 90 days. The way you're supposed to do that, and I'm trying to multitask here and find the video for you at the same time. The way you're supposed to do that is a common way to apply Prodiamine is what's called using a split application, right? So if you don't do it the way that I did it, which increases effectiveness, it increases how long the pre-emergent is effective for, is you would apply it before soil temperatures get cross 50 to 55 degrees, so like right now, and then whenever soil temps cross 65 degrees, you put down your second application. But here's the thing, you have to split it. So when they call that a split application, is just what it sounds like. You would do the first application at half rate, assuming that you're only going to be using Prodiamine in the spring, just make things simple. You'd go half rate in the for that first one, so like right now, and then when soil temps in your area cross 65 degrees, you would do the second half. So hopefully that helps. I am going to put the video in the chat here at Bo. Check that out. Like, that video has, like, I show in detail exactly how to mix it, like what the entire process is, but it's definitely not 4 ounces per 1,000 square feet. And you can't apply Prodiamine every 90 days. Really, you want to do it based on soil temp. So if you only wanted to use Prodiamine only as your only pre-emergent all year, you would go even at a lower rate now, You could do something like we'll call it, we'll make the math simple. So you do like 0.20 now, and then 0.20 when soil temps cross 65 degrees. And if you want to use it in the fall, you still have half of your annual allotment, so 0.4 ounces per 1,000 square feet left that you could then apply. But just to keep the math simple, just if you want to apply a fall pre-emergent, use something different like dithiopyr, like Dimension or something like that. But for your split app, do like half now and half when soil temps cross 65 degrees. I think you probably meant 0.4 ounces. I don't think you meant 4 ounces, but yeah, hopefully that helps answer your question. And yes, you are going to need a scale to measure it out. And then you have another question here, a follow-up. He says, can I mix Triad with it for other weeds not covered for Prodiamine? So here's the thing. I've not applied Triad, but if it's like a lot of selective post-emergence, if it requires it being applied with a surfactant, right? You're definitely, or if it works better when you use a surfactant with it, you don't really want to mix it with Prodiamine. Like in the video that I did where I showed applying mixing Image and Prodiamine, like that makes a lot of sense because both Image and Prodiamine need to be watered in. Like to activate Prodiamine, you need to put down at least half an inch of water or get like half an inch of rainwater. And Image also works from being watered in. So those two they play nice together from a standpoint of like how you apply them and how you activate them. If you're dealing with a post-emergent, something that's designed to stick to the weeds, like the active weeds, to the leaf, to the foliar, really you'd want to do that separately. Like I wouldn't mix a pre-emergent with a post-emergent that's designed to stick to the leaves. You're just kind of like you're taking two things that are designed to work differently and mixing them. So if you want to use the Triad, I would do your pre-emergent and then I would do Triad separately. I mean, there might be people that have done that, but if you're asking me how I would go about it, that's what I would do. But great question. Hopefully that helps. If I miss something or you have some follow-ups, just drop it in there down below and I will do my best to answer you. But great question. And to Bo's point, if you guys have not done pre-emergent as yet, now is definitely the time. If you're the person that likes to do that. Some people don't like to put any kind of herbicides on their lawn, but if you want to, do something to kind of prevent those spring and summer weeds, getting some pre-emergent down now is a good idea. And Prodiamine is, one of the more cost-effective ones. Like if you have a lawn that's under 6,000 square feet for a warm season lawn, you could go with something like this. That Sunnyland makes is like a little 5-ounce container of it. You can get that at a golf course lawn net store. Obviously, shameless plug. And then if you have a bigger lawn, there's also bigger containers of it. But yeah, if a great way to get it to keep a weed-free lawn or to suppress like just to hold down weed pressure once things heat up is to put down some pre-emergent. But great question, guys. Great question, Bo. Let's see what Lawn to Learn has here. He's chiming in. He says, if I'm maintaining a height of cut of 1 inch here in South Florida, I'm having to cut every 3 days. Should I consider scalping my yard at all in its first season? If so, what height of cut should I be scalping it at? So you're in Florida. What kind of grass are you going to be? Do you have, Lawn to Learn? I'll answer it assuming that it's Bermuda. The answer is if you want to scalp the lawn and you're going for a height of cut of 1 inch, I would go just under that. So you could scalp it at, let's say 0.75. Like that's a good height of cut underneath, like where you intend to maintain it, so that what grows back is going to be greener. And here's the thing, guys. Like, there's a lot of talk around scalping. Like I do it every year, but you don't really have to do it. It's not a mandatory thing. What scalping does for you is you get, at least the research shows that you get about a 2 to 3 week boost in getting a green up sooner. So let's say your lawn was going to green up at the end of March. Like if you scalp, it'll start greening up a lot sooner. So you get like 2 to 3 weeks is basically what it boils down to. And it's a good way to also remove that top growth. So it's, but the thing is, it is kind of a pain because you are going to, carrying out a lot of material because you don't want to cut it at 0.75 Lawn to Learn and leave all that material on the lawn. If you're going to cut it and you're going to scalp it, take that material out. That's one of the few times you'll hear me say, don't leave clippings on your lawn when it comes to Bermuda. But yeah, hopefully that helps. If it's Bermuda, yeah, you should be good to go as far as that goes. Let's see. Billy G's in the house. He says, even turfies. Evening, Billy. Thank you for coming to hang out, man. I appreciate it. I'm sure there's other things you can be doing on a Friday night, but you're hanging out with all the lawn crazies, and we appreciate it. And let's see. So John has a question about a backpack sprayer. He says, "Hey, hey Ron, that new backpack battery operated sprayer you used in the video about spraying flower beds is awesome, but it has a really high price tag also." Yeah. So in that video, the really 1 minute, like it's not technically a YouTube short, but it's like a 1 minute video I showed about spraying Prodiamine and image blend in my mulch beds. Yeah, the sprayer I used for that is the Flowzone Typhoon 2. And I really, really like that spray. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. But the thing with it is that it puts down products so quickly that it's a huge time saver. And it's, it's like anything else. It's really, really well built. It applies the product really, really evenly. And the thing about Flowzone, I have to give it to them. Again, I'm not like sponsored by Flowzone. They don't pay me to say this. I paid for the sprayer like everybody else. Is the consistency among the sprayers. So a good example, a viewer of mine recently got one. And he was asking me about how to do a sprayer calibration, like how to calibrate to the flow rates and this kind of thing. And he went through and did a spray test with his, like he did a calibration on his own. He got the exact same numbers that I got. So even from a standpoint of quality control, they do a pretty good job. And yeah, I just really like it, man. It just saves you a lot of time. You can apply a lot of product really quickly, very evenly with the Typhoon 2. So I'm a big fan of it. Not cheap, but it's good. And he says, did I pick that up at Site 1? I actually did get mine at Site 1. You can get it there, but a lot of times they don't have them in stock. And what they normally carry are like the lower pressure one. They have like Flowzone also makes one called a Cyclone. And like that's one that I often see there. Like the Typhoon 2 they had to order especially for me. But now the Amazon's got them. Like I actually put a link in the chat where you can actually pick one up on Amazon. Because at the time when I got mine, Amazon didn't have them. Like they're always sold out. So I guess Flowzone finally caught up, and you can get them on Amazon now, and the price is good. I think they have like fixed pricing or something. I think for the one that I would get, which is the dual pressure model, it's going to be like 305 or something like that, 300, which is again not cheap, but it's a really, really good sprayer. And but yeah, hopefully if you're in the market for one, that's a great option. I'm gonna be testing out a couple other sprayers here this season. And I guess once I get them, I'll let you guys know. I don't want to like talk about which spray I'm gonna be using or which one I'm gonna be showing off. But if some things work out, I'll be able to do a comparison for you guys that you might like. See, Jay Pompano in the house. He's saying he's out to dinner with a wifey. She won't let you watch live, so catch on the replay. That is good advice, sir. I mean, like don't watch this show. I mean, I appreciate it, guys. I love you guys watching the content. I appreciate you guys taking your Friday evening to watch, but do not watch the live stream if you're out on a dinner date with the wife. That is that's the recipe for just not good things happening. So good job, Jay. As always, the live stream is going to be available after the fact, so I'm sure you'll catch it then. And enjoy the time out with the wifey. That's always a good time. JG and LG in the house from frozen Iowa. Dude, I can't imagine. If Texas is under ice, I can't imagine what Iowa's like. You guys probably have a hard freeze going on, man. But yeah, let's see what else we have here. Let's see a question we have from Helmet Ruckus. He chimes in. He says he's considering cutting my Empire Zoysia lawn every 2 to 3 days this season. It's a good idea. With a Reel Mower. Will it be able to create seed stands, or will they not develop? That's a great question that I do not know the answer to, Helmet. That's a good question. I mean, if you're cutting it every 2 to 3 days, probably not, because it's not, you're not going to let the grass really go to the point where like seed heads will pop off. The one thing I find when it comes to that with my lawn with the TifWay is whenever temps really start to heat up. So in spring, when spring first starts, it's not like there's no seed heads. But then once temperatures start going past 75, 80 degrees, and I think the turf starts to get a little bit of stress, that's when seed heads starts really becoming a thing. It's like a stress response where like the grass now might die. So I'm going to send off like babies so I can continue to live. One hack around that, one thing you can use to help with that, Helmet, if you've not considered it, is PGR, like plant growth regulator. Will help with suppressing some of the seed heads. So I don't know if it's something that you want or if you don't want. If you don't want it, if you do want it, let the grass grow taller. If you don't want seed heads, like the regular mowing, like what you're talking about, as well as perhaps using some growth regulator, like some TNX or something, is a good option. Like that will definitely help with that. Great question though, and good job on committing to mowing every 2 to 3 days. Your lawn is going to look awesome, man. Because really, when it comes to getting great turf, it really comes down to 3 things. It's called the Triforce. It's really not. It's the 3 S's, right? It's sunshine, soil, and stripe action. So sunshine, grid soil, and then mowing a lot. So laying those stripes down. Those are the 3 things you really got to do to get good grass, at least with warm season lawns. Let's see who else we got here in the house. Richard Harwell's in the house. Chris Balducci, the best name on YouTube. I keep every time I say your name, Chris, I always think of like The Sopranos. I don't know if you guys ever watched like The Sopranos, like Tony Soprano. It's kind of probably dating myself a little bit, but yeah. I always think that every time I see your name in the chat. Lou, what's up, man? Hopefully you're doing well. Hope everything is going well with you. And yeah, so let's see what other questions we have here. Josh Habeeb. See, Josh, I told you, Josh is in the house. Happy Friday, bud. See, I'm wearing the shirt. I told you I'd wear it, and I've got it on. This is a Josh Habeeb special. So thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the shirt. Okay, so Donnell Burrell chimes in. He says, good afternoon, Ron. Greetings from Alabama. We're still thawing out from the ice and snow. Have you heard of Humichar Carbon? Can I use a type to get my soil ready for the season? Yeah, I have heard of Humichar. I've not actually used it. But yeah, it should work fine. I mean, if you can get your hands on some of that, that would be fine. Yeah, I mean, that Carbon Pro G is also a great option. And there's going to be some other options for getting carbon coming down the pipe here, in the near future. So yeah, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, you absolutely can use that. So yeah, let me know. And it's a good idea. Adding humates and carbon to your lawn is really, really good. Actually, if I get a chance here, I'll show you guys some of the benefits of that, like just in just soil test results. I think I did a video on it once, but just kind of it gets to show off a cool new feature that MySoil just released. So it'll be a fun time to show you that. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, JG saying it gets cold. I bet it gets really cold in Iowa. And Lou says, can't wait to mow. Actually, can't wait to scalp. Yep, that's my plan, man. I'm planning on, weather permitting, the first week of March, I'm gonna go for it because I'm already getting some green all across the back lawn. So I figure that we're gonna get temps in the 50s and 60s here over the next 10 days in Georgia. If that holds out, first week of March, maybe worst case second week of March, I should be good to do that height reset and get to it, man. Start laying down my granular, start laying down my liquid program. Just jumpstart the season and get the lawn going. Yeah, and as far as fertilizers go, like I'm going to be using something different this season. I'm going to be using a granular like I always have, but I'm going to a different liquid fertilizer. Like the one I'm going to be using is this one from BioPro. You guys know I always I'm a huge fan of the brand Supreme Green, but the big problem that I always have, and that you guys always give me grief over, and I get comments about it, and I kind of get sick of getting questions about it all the time, is where you can get it. And in the off season, I asked like a couple different places that carried it if they'd be willing to ship it, if there's any way they'd ever do something to where a lot of my viewers that want to use the same stuff that I'm using, if they'd be able to get it. And it's just no cigar. So I just been doing some more research, and then I came across BioPro's product. Those are the same guys that do Hydrotane. So I think it's the same company. Came across this, and I got to talking to their agronomist, like Jim, the people that blend all this stuff up, and it's a really, really good product. Like it's almost like the brand Supreme Green went to finishing school, because it has everything that it has in addition to some kelp and whatnot. So I'm really looking forward to using that in my my spoon feeding program. And obviously, there's always going to be content of me showing how to mix it, how to apply it, all that grand stuff. If you guys are interested in getting it, it's going to be shameless plug. It's already available on golfcourselawn.store, because this season I said I'm going to do as much as I can to really make content showing products that you guys can actually get. Unfortunately, with Carbon Pro G, there's not a whole lot I can do about that one. That one's only at Site 1, but you never know. There might be some other options for granular carbon products. But yeah, just let you guys know, in the off season, in addition to the live stream, I've been putting in work to try and say, I want to make sure I'm using products that people can actually get their hands on. And this stuff is like the blend looks really, really good, really promising, and that's what I'm going to be using as my liquid fert for spoon feeding this season to supplement the granular. So something cool. Some of you guys were asking, and I said I would tell you in the live stream, and so I did. I'm a man of my words. So there we go. Let's see who else we got here. Daryl Tunstall, what's up? What's going on, man? What's going on? Christina's in the house. And then finally, Grace saying she's looking forward to spring, but I enjoyed your time off because of snow. Man, I'm the opposite, Grace. Like, we got like one little dusting here in Georgia, and I was so irritated. Like, I was like waiting. I was like looking at this. I was sitting there like mean mugging all the snow, just wanting it to melt. Like, some of the kids came on the lawn, like from other neighborhood kids, built like a little snowman because the back lawn's really big, right? So they gathered a bunch of snow, built a snowman, and they were having a great time. But I was like, man, this is not good. This is the opposite of stripe action. This is the opposite of what we need. So it's gone away. We got our little dusting in Georgia, and yeah, I'm different, man. I was out mowing dormant grass. That's how much I love mowing grass. So, but I get it. Getting the time off is definitely fun. Wind Chariot, I think he's trolling me here. But he says, "Can I put down Carbon Pro G on top of snow like sprinkles?" No, you should not put Carbon Pro G down on top of snow at all. You shouldn't apply any lawn care products really on top of snow. I know you're just kidding, but I have to say no to that just to make sure that I didn't ignore it. But yeah, no, don't apply Carbon Pro G on top of snow. Christina Phillips has a good question. One of my favorite questions. Questions about top dressing and reel mowing are among my favorites. She says, should I scalp before top dressing with sand? You don't necessarily have to. Here's the thing. For the more level parts of your lawn, like the back part of take my back lawn, for example, I'm going to be maintaining a height of cut of around 1/2 inch, right? And in that case, I'm just going to continue maintaining that, and I'm going to put the top dressing blend down on that 1/2 inch. For the front lawn where there's a slope, so Christine, if your lawn has any kind of a slope, you're actually going to want to grow the grass a little bit higher if you can, because reason being, the grass actually acts like a grip, like a binding agent, sort of almost like to hold the sand in place. In other words, if you scalp the turf down really, really low and then you top dress on top of it, you're not going to really have anything, if you get any kind of like measurable amounts of rain, to hold onto that sand. So you don't really need to go super low whenever you top dress. If you have a flat area, you can cut it down a little bit if you want, but really for any kind of a slope, I would say 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch is a good height for top dressing. Okay, so I wouldn't go crazy low. And I'll put it this way: a lot of the services around here that do top dressing services, like one of them that I'm familiar with, the one that did mine, they didn't scalp. Even when I asked them the first time they're doing it, I said, "Should I scalp my lawn?" They're like, "Nope. No, I mean, there's absolutely no reason to do it." So you can if you want. If you want to lower it, you can, but it's not. In other words, it's not going to affect your results or negatively affect your results if you leave the height of cut, where you are. Obviously, you don't want it to be at like 3 inches, right? But I mean, if you're asking me about top dressing, I'm assuming you're going for a lower height of cut. So your current height or maybe a little bit lower is probably just fine. And I agree, Sharperman. 0.75 is a great height of cut. That is the height of cut that actually makes sense. That's the non crazy. That's the height of cut that you can have that where it doesn't begin to consume your life, where you have to kind of plan your vacations and your time away from the lawn around mowing. So yeah. Awesome, yeah, and LG, yeah. Josh, if you're making them available, man, you already got a customer. LG's looking for one, and Josh has kind of inspired me. I'm actually getting a better T-shirt design done. That we'll see, something that's going to look kind of cool. That hopefully I'll be able to show. I won't be able to show you guys the T-shirt, but maybe I'll be able to show you guys the design on next week's live stream. I can get your feedback. You guys can say yay or nay or whatever, or in between. You give me your feedback. It can be a collaborative thing as far as what we go with. But yeah, I really like the shirt, and Josh, you are right. The material is really nice. It is very, very nice, soft cotton. Good job. I really, really like the shirt. Let's see. Kevin Sheehan has a question. He says, do you do anything with St. Augustine like scalping to make it thicker, or just apply the normal stuff? So here's the thing. Two things, Kevin. One, I am not a St. Aug, I don't have any St. Augustine, but I don't believe St. Augustine is one of the grass types that you want to scalp. Like if Alan were in here, he would be able to chime in, but St. Augustine, I'm almost positive that that's not one of the ones where you're going to want to scalp, down very low. Like I think, your St. Aug is probably a 2.5, 3 inch height of cut is probably what it likes. And I would just maintain it that I wouldn't scalp it at least not in the sense of like how Bermuda is scalp, not anywhere near that, because you'll make it mad. And then to make it thicker, I mean, the big thing is just mow it. I mean, make sure, like, get a soil test done. If you've not done that, get a soil test done. Make sure that you remember the 3 S's: sunshine, like enough sunlight, so there's enough sun hitting the turf; soil, so make sure like you've got the right collection of macronutrients, nutrients in the soil for the grass to grow properly; and then mowing. So if you get those 3 things right, mowing is going to really help a lot with the turf thickening up. Like regular, frequent mowing at the right height with the right equipment. For St. Augustine, it wouldn't be a reel mower. You're going to want to get a good rotary with a good sharp blade on it, and just mow it a lot. And that's going to help it thicken up. You're gonna encourage growth by doing that. But I would not scalp it in the sense that of how Bermuda is done. Do not do what I did to my lawn, or what you're going to see me doing to my lawn. Don't do that to St. Augustine. You'll seriously hurt it. And yeah, see, there you go. So yeah, LG, hit Ron up with your address, and I'll have one made and sent to you. Very, very cool. Meister, my lawn's in the house. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming to hang out and chime in. Let's see. Chris Jones has a question about Milo. Near and dear to my heart. I should have had Alan on, because Alan is the Milo man. He's the one that really be taking these questions. He says, hey, bud, when's the best time to apply Milo to my St. Augustine, Homestead, Florida area? I'm concerned about aggravating any fungus with N. So I can only tell you what I've done. Like in March, like next month, when I start when I start my program where I'm going to start putting down my granular and then my spoon feeding with liquid, like I start in March. I'm going to start next month. So once your grass is actively growing, like once, if it's out of dormancy and it's doing its thing, and you where are you? You said you're in Homestead. I'm not sure where Homestead is in Florida, but once it's actively growing, you want to start feeding it. I mean, if you're concerned about N or aggravating fungus, just apply Milo at the specified rate. I think a bag covers 2,500 square feet. I think the rates are different in Florida. I think it's a lower rate in Florida. But if you're worried about fungus, just get a fungicide down. Get down as a preventative. Like what am I telling you? There's Caravan G, which is a combination insecticide and fungicide. Or if you are really a boss, you can go for the Headway G, which contains 2 different active ingredients. Let me see if I can find those for you. 2 different active ingredients of fungicides. It's azoxystrobin and propiconazole. So whereas the Caravan G will not treat dollar spot, it'll do brown spot, but Caravan G will not do that. Like the azoxystrobin won't do that. Headway G is a more complete fungicide package, in that it will do most of the more common lawn fungus that you have to deal with. And I don't have a link here to be able to send to you. I'm trying to find one here. Yep, there we go. Cool. So if you want Headway G, Chris Jones, if you decide to go with that, use that. And if you are after Caravan G, I'll have to find it and post it here in chat for you in a second. Yeah. So there you go. For Caravan G, your link is right there. So there you go. So you got both options. But I would just apply Milo at the recommended rate, just to start out, to kind of like start feeding the lawn, ease it into it, and then just put down a fungicide as to mitigate any possibilities or problems with lawn fungus. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Because what I do is in April, I'm going to be applying my April, maybe late April, early May, I'll be applying my fungicide, right? And I do it as a preventative measure. I've been using Caravan G primarily in the past, but this year I might switch it up. I might use Headway G this year. We'll see what I end up going with. But I put it down as a preventative, just because I don't want to deal with fungus. Like fungus and grub worms are 2 things you do not want in your lawn, mainly because it takes a while for the lawn to recover from them, and it creates quite a mess. So I would put it down as a preventative. So, and you've got links in the chat now for that if you decide to go for that. All right. Phi Dip says, did you do anything to prep your lawn, dethatching, before you did your Arden 15 overseeding last year, or did the seed find its own way in the soil? Great question, Phi Dip. So here's the thing. When I did Arden 15 last year, I did a lot. There's a lot of things that I didn't do correctly, and I still got really good germination. Like I wasn't able to stop the like, in other words, pre-emergent went down last spring, which is a big no-no if you are going to be overseeding. as far as preparation, the one thing I did is I did aerate the lawn. I didn't dethatch it. I didn't thin it out. I did aerate it, and I put down the seed. But that Arden 15, like with the germination rate you guys saw, that was with pre-emergent peeing on the lawn. So this year where I'm not doing that, like this year I'm really committing to, I really, like my main thing this year is I want to improve the back lawn, get Arden 15 spread all throughout the yard, and I'm willing to give up weeds or deal with more weeds in order to do that. So as far as prep goes, if you can get a dethatcher, like one of those Sun Joes or something like that, or if you can rent one, that's a good idea. Anything you can do to thin out the turf so that you're going to you're improving seed to soil contact is going to be really good. But yeah, as far as special things last year, just aerating is all I did, and then I applied it. And again, I didn't actually do things as good as I could have, and I still got a pretty good result. So this year, where I'm planning to aerate, I'm going to be using Hydrotain. I'm going to be putting that down to have like a a wet, I can't say a wetting agent, but something that's going to keep drawing moisture in to kind of keep the seeds wet to really help with germination. I'm going to be using a product to with a little bit of liquid phosphorus to give that a boost. I'm going to be doing, like, literally the first half of this year is all about getting a really good germination rate with Arden 15. So it's going to be, obviously I'm going to document all of it. It's going to be filmed. You guys are going to see it all. What'll happen is, before I do that, it's going to be like mid-May. That's what I'm shooting for. I will be sure to like outline the process that I'm going to be using. So if you're trying to follow it, fight it, you'll be able to do that. So, but yeah, great question. But long short of the answer is anything you can use to improve soil seed contact is a good idea when it comes to seeding. All right, Popo and Sons Lawn Care. Hey man, what's going on? What else we got in the chat here? Chris Dada said I haven't been able to catch you live. My Knicks normally play on Fridays, but not tonight. Well, I'm glad the Knicks aren't playing, and that I am the alternative. I know there's other things you could have been doing, so I appreciate that I am after the Knicks. That puts me in pretty good company, Chris. I will take it. Pacific Northwest Lawns in the house. What's going on, man? How's it going? I always chat with you and catch up with you on Instagram, so I always like to see other YouTubers in the live stream. All right, so we got a question here. Actually, first let me take care of a super chat from Kevin. Super chat received. Thanks so much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. Not really the man. I just I spend entirely too much time in my lawn, but I appreciate the kind words. So the next question we have here is from Lawn to Learn. He says, when is the best time to sand a newly sodded yard? Would we better to wait until the next season? Okay. Yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, if you when you say newly sodded, I'm gonna assume by that you mean the lawn was sodded in January. Let's say it's Bermuda, and you had it put down this year. I would give this season off. I'd let the grass grow in, get fully established, be doing really, really well. And then I would top dress, next year. Like, and the time to do that, again, I'm only answering as I do as if you're in Georgia, like in my area. In most cases in Georgia, mid-May to early June is like the sweet spot, because it's hot enough that the grass is growing aggressively that it should recover quickly, but it's also still into enough spring that you should get some free watering from rain. You don't have to spend a bunch of time or money on watering to help feed the lawn, help things come back sooner. So May, June-ish is around the right time, but I wouldn't push it on a newly sodded lawn. I mean, Bermuda again is like the alpha grass as far as being able to take abuse, but you put all this money into getting sod done, and I wouldn't be in a rush to top dress it this year. I'd give it a good year before doing that. Let's see. Papa Moslow has a question. He says, I have a spot in the lawn about 4 feet by 3 feet that gets a lot of traffic and is packed down. Grass doesn't seem to grow there. Any suggestions? Okay, so assuming you're dealing with Bermuda, I mean, if you can limit the traffic, Papa Moslow, that will help. What you can also do is, if you're going to spoon feed your lawn, right? So if you're this is kind of like what like golf course greens they do, like those get sprayed, or they receive nutrients more on a more frequent basis than the rest of like fairways or the rest of the golf course, because they get a lot more abuse. So if we apply that same thing to this area, if you're open to doing some spoon feeding, get something like this, like the Turfplex. Hold this up, something like this. That is like 10% of the nitrogen in this is just straight urea. So it's going to be relatively quick release. And if you can apply apply that to that area, say every couple of weeks, every 2 weeks, that will encourage growth. That's going to encourage that area to grow in. I wouldn't do that to your entire lawn unless that's unless you just that's the program you want to run. But by introducing some by spoon feeding that area, by introducing some quicker release nitrogen to that area, you're going to encourage the grass to recover. It's going to recover from abuse a little bit faster. And then the next thing is if you can like do something to cut down on the traffic, that's going to obviously help too. Again, I'm assuming you're talking about Bermuda here, but I mean, if we can reduce the traffic and feed that area of the lawn a healthy nitrogen diet to where it's got plenty of food to bounce back to grow quickly, that will probably help. That would be my recommendation. That's what I would try. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And let's see, Hayden Flanders in the house says, "Hey Ron, we're with the Jones watching you." Hey Hayden and Joneses. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you guys don't know, Hayden, she's a martial artist. She's someone that I train with. So yeah, it's cool that you guys are hanging out in the live stream. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support, guys. I always appreciate it. And let's see what else we got here. And speaking of which, ask Brett about his lawn, like as another thing, guys. This past week, I went over to the Joneses, my buddy Brett, to his house. We put down some pre-emergent on his lawn. We also put down like a little bit of fert on his lawn, a granular, because he doesn't have a spreader. So I put down something that a fert to kind of get his lawn going. And we did a soil test as well. So once you have all this knowledge around preventing weeds and around feeding a lawn, don't keep it for yourself. Like make sure you pass it on and share it and help your buddies out. You got to create more lawn care junkies. We have to spread this around, right? It's a good thing. Nothing wrong with having a nice lawn. So, but yeah, glad you guys are watching, Hayden and the Joneses, and hope you guys are having a good night. Hopefully I'll see you guys at karate tomorrow. So, let's see what other questions we have here. Chris Haynes from Texas. He says, in Texas, we got a lot of snow this week. Yeah, that's an understatement, which was unusual. Does this change when/rate of fungicide in the spring, snow, mold, or something? I have plenty of Scott's Disease X on hand. I don't actually know, Chris. I don't believe so though. I would not think that because really like the snow that you guys got in Texas is not going to stick around hopefully too much longer. It's not a common thing, and it's not like you guys are that this is gonna happen again. At least let's hope. I would not change. I wouldn't really change what you're planning to do with your spring fungicide. I just don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, I wouldn't make a big change. All right, let's see. Question here, a point here from Daryl. He says, "Hey Ron, how low was your first cut with the TruCut, sir? And do you both Reel Mower? Oh, do I have both Reel Mowers such the same height?" Great question, Daryl. So my first mow with the TruCut, I think you're probably referring to what I did in January. So I was at 0.75, and I brought the height of cut down to just above half an inch to try and do a little pre-scalp to save myself some time. And when I scalp it in a couple of weeks from now, I'll probably go right at half an inch or just a little bit under that, maybe just a touch under. And yes, the goal is to have both of them set to the same height. So the TruCut, the Greensmaster is set up right now for a bench height of cut of half an inch, which probably is going to really equate to just a little bit under that. I may have to raise it up a little bit. And then the TruCut, once it goes off and gets cherried up, gets all sharpened up, the reel and bed knife freshened up after scalping, it's going to be set to the same thing. So yeah, I do set both mowers to the same height of cut. The nice thing with the TruCut is that it's really easy. You can just change. You can easily change the height of cut. With the TruCut, you can't get as precise as you can with the Greensmaster, but you can get them approximately within the same ballpark. Let's see. Okay, so Jordan RN has a question. What's the benefit of pre-emergent after 65 degrees on split application? I thought you could only use it before 55 degrees. I'm so confused on that. Okay, great question, Jordan. So the idea behind applying at 65 degrees is that a couple of things. When you do, and Alan explained this beautifully in a video that he recently did. If you're not seeing that, go check out his channel. He did a video on pre-emergent, but his explanation was really, really good. So if you are only, you can just do one application, like what we did on Alex's lawn. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, in theory, you're not going to get as much control for as long by doing it that way. But the idea is that you, by applying applying before soil temps cross 50 to 55 degrees, you are going to hurt a lot of the germination, or prevent a lot of the germination of like crabgrass and a lot of warm weather weeds that are currently just sitting there in dormancy, just waiting for temps to be right for them to germinate. And the idea is that as that pre-emergent may be falling off, or if your application coverage wasn't as good, when it crosses 65 degrees, what you tend to see is another flush of growth, another flush of weeds that will begin germinating. So the idea behind split applications is two things. One, you're extending the coverage, and then also two, which is a great point that I hadn't actually considered, and Alan brought this out, was that you're getting better coverage. So for example, if I spray my entire lawn with the Flowzone, I do a great job, and I think I've got really good coverage. Like I may have, or I may not have. I may have missed a few spots. But now if you're doing a split app and you go in the opposite direction, now you're laying down another layer of pre-emergent. Granted, it's not as concentrated, not as strong as the first one, but you're laying down two layers. And if you apply them in different patterns, you overall should get better coverage and better suppression for longer. So you can do it either a single app or you can do a split app. The big thing is that if you decide to do a split app, you have to divide you have to half your application rate, assuming you're only doing Prodiamine in the spring and you're going to use something else in the fall. So the idea behind it, again, Jordan, is that if there are weeds that are perhaps a little bit deeper in your soil that will germinate once temps get a little bit hotter, once you get to 65 degrees, putting it down once temps cross 65 will prevent those from coming in. So it's a way to extend coverage. But you are right. Like split apps only work really if you've already got that first one done, like right now, before temps cross 50 to 55 degrees. So before soil temps, when I keep saying temps, but I'm assuming you guys know I mean soil temperatures cross 50 to 55 degrees. And if you've not gotten pre-emergent and you need like if you have like a warm season lawn like Bermuda, you got less than 6,000 square feet, you can pick up one of these guys, which is a really, really good deal. It's a good way to save money if you don't want to have a bunch of pre-emergent laying around, like one of these little 5-ounce containers. And I've got those right here at golfcourselawn.store. So check those out if you want to go. Something like $20, $21, something like that. Hopefully that helps answer your question. If it didn't, let me know down below. Hopefully I did a good job explaining it, and I will revisit it if I didn't. Herman Hernandez says, hi. Hey, Herman. How's it going? How's it going? Thanks for coming to hang out with us. Let's see what other questions we have here. And we have a first-time listener, Benjamin Jam BT says, first-time listener, cool show, looking forward to more. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming to hang out. I really, really appreciate it. Stan G's in the house, and Richard is saying he's just about got his wife convinced to purchase the Flowzone sprayer. I will get it assuming she says yes. That's cool, man. I mean, you'll like it, man. It's a really, really good sprayer. It is not inexpensive, but it does a great job on the turf. And guys, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, we got like 90 people in here right now, which is awesome. Thank you guys so much for trusting me with a little bit of your time on Friday night. Let's hit that like button, man. Send some vibes to the YouTube algorithm. Tell them, let them know, notify more people to come in and come ask all kinds of cool lawn care questions with, on a Friday night. Hang out with all us lawn crazies. So I appreciate it. So hit that like button if you've not done so yet. Easy way to support me, and it costs you nothing. You can't beat free, right? Playmate Miami's in the house. Hey, how's it going? Hopefully my answer to your question and on the comment section was good. It lets you learn what you needed. And then the Wind Chariot says, nobody scalps my hood and they wonder why my grass is green so early. Yeah, I mean, scalping is a secret weapon. I mean, it definitely, you do get an earlier green up, but it's a lot of work. It's not for everybody. Like I'd say if you have the time and you are going to do it right, where you're going to get rid of a lot of the material, then absolutely do it. But it is not a mandatory thing. I like to do it. There's definitely benefits to it. But if you don't scalp, don't feel like, your lawn's not going to get green in case. I mean, by the way, there's tons of Bermuda growing all in the wild and it turns perfectly green without anyone scalping it. So all you're doing is just for people that want to get that green just a little bit sooner. All right. So Gary Gale says, hey, Ron, I have Celebration Bermuda grass and I stay in Florida and it's really green right now. Lucky you. But I've only been using Milorganite. Do you have any recommendations on a liquid fertilizer I can try? Sure. I do. Here's the thing, Milo, if you're getting great results with Milo, you can just keep rocking that, man. Milo's a good product. If you want a liquid fert, the one that I'm going to be using this year, it's going to be this one. It's going to be the Turfplex. It's a 22.3. This one here from BioPro. It's straight urea, or it's not straight urea. It's like 10% of it is straight urea. So it's a relatively quick release fertilizer. So it's really used for spoon feeding. And you're only putting down at the rate that I'm going to be applying it at, which is 6 ounces per thousand. You're only putting down 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen. So it's not very much that you're applying. But what it's going to do is if you incorporate this into what you're doing with your granular program, is you'll get a more consistent green. Like what you tend to find that happens with granular fertilizers is you'll apply them, and then when they begin breaking down, you'll get a flush of green, like a really nice green, and then it begins to fall off. And then you do the next application, and then it repeats again. So you get this kind of like this porpoising effect as far as just how the color of the turf looks. So what you can do is you can use a granular as your base, as your primary source of nitrogen. And then use something like this, like the Turfplex, as a supplement. You can spoon feed with that every couple of weeks, and you're putting down just a little bit of nitrogen and some other micronutrients. And what that's going to do is you're going to keep a very nice, consistent green throughout the entire growing season. This one also has some micronutrients in it. It's got some zinc, some manganese, and some iron, which you technically don't really need a whole lot of because you're using Milo. But yeah, that's what I would try. And if you want to get it, you can pick it up here at golfcourselawn.store. It's in stock now. That is what I'm going to be using this season, because mainly I got tired of you guys always getting on my case about the Brand Supreme Green because no one could get it. But now I got something that you guys can get that I'm going to be using. So problem solved. Great question, Gary. And definitely let me know if you decide to try it out. Let me know how it works out for you. Remember, you're using this as a supplement to what you're using with your granular product. This really, you're not going to stand alone. You're going to use this to get a consistency in color in your turf. So awesome question. And I am jealous. For two reasons. One, you got Celebration Bermuda, which is a really, really pretty Bermuda. And then second, that it's already green, whereas mine is only now starting to turn green. So the benefits of living in Florida. Lee chimes in, he says, the weather in Chattanooga has been cold the last couple of weeks, lows in the 20s, but most days not exceeding 50. So yeah, I mean, Chattanooga is a little bit north than where I am. And we are getting like 30s at night and 50s in the daytime. And then, again, the next 10-day forecast, assuming that things just don't, Mother Nature doesn't work against me, like everything I saw in the next 10 days is going to be warmer. So it's like 50s and 60s. So do not jinx me. Any of you guys in your cold weather, do not do any kind of voodoo dances outside that's going to cause it to mess up my plans for mowing in a couple of weeks, because I really want to get out there and mow. I got to break the greens master in. So I'm looking forward to it. But it's going to warm up here soon, Lee. Like whatever my temperatures are, you're not going to be that far behind, because Chattanooga really isn't that much further too far north than me. DJ Kid in the house, what's going on, man? Thanks, appreciate you coming to show some support. And Doug Flanders, another karate guy. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in and hang out in the live stream. I appreciate the support. You guys coming to hang out and answer my lawn care questions. Doug is another one. He's another one I'm going to work on, guys. That's the thing. I always what I do is I come over and I say, hey man, you need some pre-emergent on your lawn. It's that time of year. I want to just come and help you out, and it's a gateway. I want to you want to get their lawn start looking a little nice, and next thing you know, they're buying reel mowers and top dressing and doing all this kind of stuff. That's my goal. That's my goal. And it's good always to help your buddies out. It's good to help your friends out. All right. So Donnell Burnell says, hey, Ron, I ordered my MySoil test kit and waiting for the results. Also, I'm going cheap on a reel mower. I ordered a Sun Joe reel mower. I didn't know that Sun Joe made reel. Oh, they do. I think they make a push one. Yeah, you're right. Okay, don't laugh. Have you heard of Sun Joe products? I have heard of their products. I'm not gonna laugh, dude. Listen. I started out mowing, and again, I don't really want to say this because you guys will think I'm a crazy person, and I kind of am. I started out with a manual reel mower. I was mowing like almost 12,000 square feet with a Scott's 20-inch. Actually, truth be known, I started with a 16-inch and then upgraded to a 20-inch push reel mower. I was mowing the entire lawn with that. So there's no shame in starting with a manual reel mower. I started with one. It's a great way to see if reel mowing is for you. I have not seen the Sun Joe version to know if it's good, but I'm sure it's fine. And and as far as like their products, I've only heard really good things. Like they make an electric aerifier, dethatcher. Like Silver Symbol has a really good video on it. A couple other YouTubers have videos on it. And looking at that video, they got really good results with thinning out their lawn using it. So if I take what I saw in that video and translate it to the reel mower, I assume it's also going to be really good too. But yeah, don't ever, I mean, dude, you are using a reel mower, so it doesn't matter what it is, like powered or push, like you're reel mowing. So, and that's how you start. You start with that, and then if you decide you really like it, it's for you, then you'll move into like, you know, a powered one. But yeah, you definitely gotta start somewhere. And I'm glad you got a soil test kit. That's really awesome. And as a segue, that's a great segue into something I wanted to share with you guys. I won't take too much time on it, but I wanted to share with you. So the guys at MySoil, you guys know I love my soil testing. I think it's really important, something that everyone should be doing. And the guys at MySoil, one of the things that I'd mentioned to them a while back, and I'm not saying this because I mentioned this, but I'm sure they were just planning to do it anyway, is that it would be really, really cool to be able to compare trend data. So let's say you do, like, good example, like I did a soil test in June of last year, fall, and then December, right? And I just did one for this spring to get ready. And it'd be really cool to be able to do, to lay all that data on a graph and see just how trends are going. It's kind of like I always tell you guys, like soil testing is great for like point in time analysis, but it's also really helpful for seeing trends. So if I can make this work through the magic of a demo gods be kind to me. Let's see. Bam. All right, cool. So this is my MySoil dashboard. And what you're seeing here are all my soil test results from last year to this year, using like Alex's lawn and everything else. You can see at the very bottom, I got two, like one for real rollers that I did that we haven't got results yet, and then one that I did literally a couple of days ago that I just sent out for my spring. So I show you guys, I practice what I preach. You can see my results here. But what's cool is before I would have to go and let's just pick out one of Alex's. And I'd pick this one. I could look at it and get rid of my face on here, not useful. And I could look at his results, say, oh, that's kind of cool, that's useful. And then if I want to look at another one, I have to come back and pick his next soil test and then like lay both of them up and look at them individually and try and figure it out. But now, check this out. Check out this party trick. What they've done, if we want to look at like, say, all of Alice's soil tests, right? So we'll pick the one from June, we'll pick the one from September, and then we'll pick the one from December. And then at the bottom down here, you see this, you scroll out a little bit, you'll see at the bottom, it's in your portal too if you guys have this, you hit compare samples. I'll get myself back up on the screen here. And now you can overlay, this is really sweet, you can overlay all your soil test results and look at the trends, which is, I think is pretty baller, right? So now you can see, like, starting with, I'm not gonna go through all this, do a huge analysis, I don't wanna bore you guys to death too much, but the cool thing is that you'll see here is that starting with the June one, you can see all his rates are really low, the dark blue, fairly low, and we were already fertilizing at this point, but the one thing that, if you guys were ever wondering, if there's anything to carbon products, so like Humate products, like the Carbon Pro G, like the products that Miramichi Green makes, that liquid carbon that it can literally mine and free up nutrients that are locked up. Like this soil test results is proof of that. So starting like right after he top dressed his lawn, we started adding a carbon program to his lawn. And look at this. Look what happened to all his nitrogen levels, like all his levels for this light blue one, all the way across the board, including his iron and manganese, zinc, like literally everything came up, and we didn't apply any micronutrients that contain these. So just by using those products, like the carbon products, it really should, like this. When I saw this data just separately, it looked cool, but then laying it out like this was really, really fun to watch, because it really shows that this stuff works. Like visually, I could see that the lawn looks amazing, but then being able to lay the data out and look here and see, how the practices, the products I was applying, the effect it was having was really cool. And then also with this pH, kind of like over here on the right, you can see trend data. Kind of like I always tell you with soil pH, it takes a while to change, but the nice thing about soil testing is it allows you to establish trends. And the thing we could see is that with Alex, his has been trending down, which is why in December, he put down, I want to say almost 60 pounds of lime. So to help bring that back up, we haven't tested his spring yet to see if it's starting to move back in the right direction. But this is the beauty of soil testing. And if you guys have the MySoil test kit, I'll get this off here. If you guys are using MySoil for your test kit, you guys all have access to this. So I'm not sure if you guys log into the portal very often, but if you do, you've got the same access to this that I do. Everyone else that uses their products can absolutely use it. So if you're in the market for a soil test kit, and you're not you don't already have one that you're sticking with, consider giving these guys a shot, because like the trending tool they put in there is really, really, really handy. If you want to get one, you can get one here at golfcourselawn.store. And again, that's really one of the best things that they did is really, really cool. So yeah, and actually one more small thing, and I promise that I'll get back to questions. I'll show you is is sometimes people have questions that when they get their soil test results around like, what does manganese do or what does iron do? So what they did, they also added is here, get my face off of here because I'm in the way. You see here this learn more button that's now present. So you click on that and it will tell you at a very short little blurb like, hey, this is what each of the parameters in your soil test results, like what these mean. So they're trying to make it more easy that, for people that are trying to do this on their own and trying to interpret the results and understand like what is going on with their turf, they're putting in data to try and help with that. So good on to the guys at MySoil. Thank you guys so much for being, a great service to the lawn care community, to the DIY community. And so hopefully I wanted to share that with you guys. When I saw it, I was like, I asked them, what can I tell people about it? Because it's really, really cool. I mean, like, I kind of geek out on this kind of stuff. I love data. So again, if you've not yet decided on a soil testing program, and I would say go with MySoil, but the big thing is like pick one and stick with it. So if you're using with MySoil, like continue to use that one. If you're using like an extension office, like a lot of people like some of the university extension offices, if you're doing that, pick that and stick with it because you want to use the same testing methodology so you can identify deltas, you can identify changes. Like the actual testing method isn't as important as like the changes that you see between different tests. So hopefully you guys found that useful. So that's one of the things I had on my list to talk about tonight, and you guys get to see it. So it's really cool. I'm really excited about that. I can't wait till I get my spring data back to be able to see what I'm looking like. All right. So other questions we have here. LG says, Ron, assume they quit selling. Oh, why you got to be like that, man? Why you got to ask these kinds of questions? Says Ron, assume they quit selling your beloved Carbon Pro L and G. What would you replace it with? Great question. So I mean, Miramichi Green makes other products. They make they have a couple other products that they make that are carbon products. I mean, like the carbonized PN isn't really the equivalent to Carbon Pro G from a standpoint of like spreadability. Like you really need to use a top dresser or something to put down like the carbonized PN. But they also have a product called Essential G that is very comparable to Carbon Pro G that I could I would probably go to, and it's something I might try out this season anyway because a lot of you guys have trouble getting to site one. I might try out that other granular and see how it works. As far as liquids go, like the Carbon Pro L is a good product, but like the products from Miramichi Green is what I would go with. And honestly, the Carbon Pro L, once I finish using that up, I'm primarily going to be using Miramichi Green products. So I really like their Release Zero line of carbon soil amendments. Like I saw really good results with it. Like, I mean, I listened to what they said. They gave me a bunch of testing data and they were like telling me about, all the results and sending pictures, but then I just tested it myself. Like I picked some of the worst parts of my lawn and applied this stuff to it and kept everything else the same. And there was a noticeable difference. So as far as liquid carbon products, they make a kelp product. They make arguably one of the better liquid carbon products out there. So that is what I would go to. And it's probably what I'm going to be using primarily this season. So there's other players in the market. As long as Miramichi Green sticks around, I'm able to get like their Essential G, like that product, which is similar. I should be good to go. But great question. But let's just hope that doesn't happen, man. I mean, I can't see them not selling, the Carbon Pro G. It's something that does pretty well. Let's see. Doug Flanders has a question. He says, how do you start the soil testing process? Okay, so the way you start is you need to get a soil test kit. You need one of these, Doug. You need to get a soil test kit. And I also recommend getting one of these fancy, over-engineered, but super cool soil test probes so that it makes it easy for you to grab your samples. And then you can, you take the samples, you throw them in a container that looks like, I'll take this out real quick. You throw it in this, which is the ion exchange resin, and you send this out to MySoil, throw it in an envelope, send it out to them, and then a week from then, you're going to have your results. And then based on that, you'll be able to make changes to your soil based on their recommendations. So the process is super simple. As far as where to get a soil test kit, you can get them here at golfcourselawn.store. And yeah, that's the process. Soil testing is super easy. It takes minutes to do, and it's honestly one of the best things you can do for your lawn care program, because then you're going to be you can be applying things that make sense. You're not going to be throwing just praying it, spraying and praying. But yeah, let's see what else we have here. Yeah, so Lawn to Learn, another vote for the son Joe. He says he has a son Joe's doing a remarkable job at 1 inch. So there you go. That's you got another endorsement for the son Joe Reel Mower. Christina Phillips says, hey, what's your opinion of corn gluten as a pre-emergent? That's a great question, Christina. So I've gotten a couple of questions on this from viewers that want a more organic route. There's some people that just don't want to put any kind of herbicides down on their lawn, which I get. And just the research I've done on that, there is like corn gluten or cornmeal is one of the it can be like a natural pre-emergent is what the research is saying. But here's the thing: the digging that I did into it shows arguments on both sides. Some say that it can work as a pre-emergent, but you have to be very, very specific with the time when you apply the application. And others say that as it breaks down, it just becomes another source of nitrogen, and it just basically is going to increase growth. So I've never used it to be able to say for sure, but everything that I've looked at as far as a organic source for doing pre-emergent, like corn gluten has come up. So there probably are some benefits. I just wouldn't be able to tell you how to apply it and to get a good result. So I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you. Sorry I don't have a better answer for you on that one. But yeah, you are on the right track if that's what you're after for like an organic pre-emergent. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. Chaz Bishop says, do you know a good site where I can determine what kind of weeds I have in my lawn? I'm from Georgia. Yeah, so check out like, I think UGA I think their extension office may have some of that on their website. Like a lot of the universities have websites where they will have a lot of common weeds, like they'll have pictures of it, the names of it, like all the different variants. So look for like an extension office, and you're in Georgia, so like the UGA extension office would be a good one. I think UGA has one. I know Tennessee, like one of the universities in Tennessee has like a catalog of the different weed types and how to identify them. And then who else? Walter Reeves has he's like a big lawn guy or big gardener person in Georgia. He has like a radio show and everything. He on his website, I believe, also has like a lot of the common weeds that you're gonna find in Georgia. So between like an extension office, like one of their website that has that kind of stuff, or like Walter Reeves' site, or even just Google, if we're in Georgia, you can say common weeds in Georgia, common summer weeds in Georgia. Like you'll get a bunch of results, and you should be able to identify what kind of weed you have based on that. Also, if you can take it to like, if you see like one of those guys that always are out spraying, you can ask one of them. If you have a site one nearby, you can go in and show it to them. They'd probably help you out. But online, there's tons of resources where you should be able to figure out what kind of weed you are dealing with. All right, so we have another question here from Will Ward. He says, hey, Ron, have you tried or do you have the rotary lawn scissors as a replacement to a string trimmer? If so, do you like it? Thanks. So no, Will, I do not have a rotary lawn scissors. All of last season, people were trying to get me to buy one, but I don't need yet another piece of lawn equipment. I have enough lawn equipment as it is. I've got I got my string trimmer, and I really only need that like around the mailbox. I don't need it on the mailbox, and I could use it between the fence line between Alex and myself, and maybe around the rocks. So I got a couple places where it makes sense. But then I heard how loud those things are, and I'm not sure if just the one I heard was just a loud one, but they're pretty noisy. They're really, really loud. And then I have to go buy like another. I have to buy like another another extension to attach it to. I mean, I'm willing to try one out. It might, it might be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I might be one when I try one, and I realize, I never knew what I was missing out on. But I don't have one. The videos that I've seen on them look really good. Like they produce a very nice cut. They're like the Reel Mower of sorts of like getting a good edge. But I just haven't gotten my hands on one as yet. So I don't know, maybe something to try out this season. If I can find one or get a good deal on one, I might give it a go. But I have not planned on doing that at this point. All right. John Cross says, I planted Kentucky bluegrass last fall. What would you suggest for the plan B for this spring? Hit it hard or let it be? Okay, so John, unfortunately, I'm not really a cool season guy. If you planted it you said you planted it this fall, would you like hit it hard or let it be? I can tell you that a couple of viewers, a guy named Thomas, I think his channel is like Tomco, he's one of the commenters on my channel, one of the subscribers. He has Kentucky bluegrass. And the issue that he had with it is that it during the spring it's fine, like during the fall it's fine, and spring it's fine. But once summer heat got here, he had a lot of trouble keeping it green, like having it maintain its color. Like he was putting a lot of water on it, and it's just like it just didn't like the heat. So you can continue to cut it and keep it looking nice, but just know that whenever I don't know what part of the country you're in, but if you get like a really hot summer, that it's going to struggle a little bit. So I would just continue feeding it, man. I would just without understanding exactly what you're asking as in your question, I would just, as long as it's green, continue feeding it, continue mowing it regularly. But don't be surprised that when summer hits and it starts getting stressed, that it's going to fall off a little bit. It's probably going to thin out, and the color's not going to be as nice. And that's just par for the course. It's a cool season grass, so it's just not something you can do a whole lot with when summer heat hits. Again, depending on where you are in the country. All right. Dimitri says, "Hey, Ron, what about scalping Xeon Zoysia? I've never scalped Zoysia, so I'm not sure." Dimitri, and because Zoysia grows so slow, I'd be afraid to tell you to do that. I don't want to, because Bermuda. That's the thing with Bermuda, right? If you have an oopsie with Bermuda, it's going to come back pretty quickly. Like it's gonna look not so great for a while, but it's gonna bounce back because Bermuda like the alpha grass, right? But Zoysia, what I would do if your goal is to lower the height of cut on your Zoysia, or you're just trying to get that growth, I would just take the top off. Just take the taste off the top of it. I mean, I would not do a major scalp on Zoysia because it is a slower growing grass, and I've personally never done it to know how it's going to respond. So I don't want to tell you to go do something that might damage your lawn, have you with an ugly looking lawn for most of spring, maybe into summer. So what I can tell you that would be good advice is just start cutting it. Like once March rolls around and the temperatures are coming up. Again, assuming you're in Georgia, assuming you're in my part of the country, just start cutting it. Maybe a little bit lower than its current height. And that's going to stimulate growth, and it's going to green up just fine. So because again, you don't have to scalp your lawn to get it to green up. It does help it green up sooner, but it's not purely a requirement for getting a green lawn. So hopefully that helps. And Ralph Oliver says, yeah, Seville, St. Augustine likes 2 to 2.5 inches, most 3 to 4. So there's your question for the person that asked earlier about height of cut for St. Augustine. I would not scalp St. Augustine. Let's see, a question here from Lou. He says, as far as top dressing material goes for Bermuda lawn, what mix do you recommend? Great question. Depends on your budget, Lou. So if you want the more economical route, like a mix of 70-30%, 70-30 mix, English, Ron, a 70% mix of sand and 30% mix of organic material like topsoil, compost. So you're adding some organic material to the turf, to the soil as part of your top dressing process is what I would go with. So a 70-30 blend. What I have found, the negative of doing that, at least in my case, what I have found is that when you introduce the topsoil, or whatever the organic material is, depending on how clean it is, you're probably going to bring some weeds into your lawn. So that's one thing you got to be aware of by doing that 70-30 blend when you top dress. It's not going to be a ton, but you could have some weed issues. In my case, I ended up with like a slight spurge outbreak after top dressing with a 70-30 blend. But you should add, in my opinion, you should add organic material as part of your top dressing mix. Another method of doing it, and what we did the second time around when we did Alex's lawn, when I top dressed my full lawn, because my lawn got top dressed twice last year, is after aerating, I applied like Carbon Pro G as my organic material. So instead of using like having the compost or the organic material mixed in with the top dressing mix, I applied Carbon Pro G as my organic material, and then I just top dressed with 100% river sand. So that's another option too. So there's two ways you can go about it. You can do 70-30 mix, which tends to be a little bit cheaper, or you can do 100% sand, but using like an organic product. Like if you've got a top dresser, like the carbonized PN from Miramichi Green would work for that. The Essential G would work for that. And then if you got a site one near you, the Carbon Pro G are all good options for that. Because that way you're adding some microbials, you're adding some compost, some biochar, and then you're just using the sand for largely for leveling. And the nice thing about that is that the leveling work that you do is going to last longer, because sand doesn't break down like organic material does. So the leveling work that you do with using 100% river sand is going to hold better, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's a couple different options: 70-30 or 100% with some organic adder that you introduce on your own. So hopefully that helps answer your question. And you're gonna get to see it, because this year I am gonna be top dressing again, and you get to see the entire process. And that's part of what I'm gonna be filming. Like I'm gonna film that. It's gonna obviously be for free on YouTube, like most of my content is. And then I'm also gonna have a module in the course that you see here at golfcoursesalon.com, which I'm still working on, and that I will pre-launch here soon. There's going to be a module in there on top dressing. So you'll have a couple of different options. So great question. Love questions about top dressing. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful, Lou. Larry Caper has a question. He says, what is the best entry-level gas reel mower? Thoughts on the California trimmer? So The best way to answer this question, if you saw the live stream last week where that was all about reel mowers, like in that live stream, you'll see, we broke down this question in a lot of different ways, but I can tell you that my criteria for choosing choosing a gas powered reel mower are a couple of things. One, what can you get serviced in your area? So California trimmer is fine. If that's the one you're leaning towards, you can go with that. But you want to make sure there's a place that can work on it, that can, if you need to get it serviced, that there's somewhere you can take it to get that kind of work done. As far as getting it sharpened, like all that kind of stuff. My personal preference for an entry level reel mower, and I hate to say entry level because it's really not. It's like, I in my mind, I really put a TruCut above. In my opinion, again, this is purely my opinion. Don't send me hate mail. Is I put the TruCut slightly above the McLean and California trimmer. It's a little bit like more sturdier built machine, and I like the way it operates with the drive system better than I do the McLean or the California trimmer. But here's the thing: any reel mower you get is going to be just fine as long as it's set up properly and you set it for the right height of cut for your grass, and you're cutting at the correct frequency. You're cutting regularly based on the height of cut that you're going for. You're going to get a good result. You can get a great result with a California trimmer. You can get a great result with a TruCut. You can get a great result with a Greensmaster. So any of those mowers will work just fine for you. The criteria that I would go with are what's your budget for how much you want to spend. But then most importantly is what can you get serviced? What can you get serviced in your area? Because reel mowers do need service. Like as far as getting the reel and bed knife, freshened up, you need to find a place that can do that for you. So those are some of the things that I would consider as part of your buying decision. But for me, if you ask me, someone comes to me and says, "Hey, Ron, which reel mower should I buy as an entry, as a starter reel mower?" If you can find a pre-owned TruCut, that's what I would go with. I really like my TruCut because it's a great jack of all trades reel mower. It's a great balance. And let's see here. On the lawn training, he says, "Hey, Ron, thanks for the help with my soil test results." You're very welcome, sir. Very, very welcome. He says, "I'm all prepped for the season. Maybe after the season, it can actually be called soil." They weren't that bad, man. And what on lawn training is saying that if you guys get a soil test done, and again, it doesn't have to be from MySoil. It's easier for me if you guys use this one because I'm just really familiar with interpreting those results, but it doesn't really matter. If you have like a soil test results from some extension office or something, you need some help figuring it out, like getting some recommendations around products or like a treatment program, feel free to drop me an email. Where's my email address? Right here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Just drop me an email and I will look over them and I'll come back to you with some options of things you can do. So again, the MySoil test kit is the one that I like. It's the one that I use, but I look at ones that are not from, that are not MySoil ones just as much. So whatever, if you need help figuring out, feel free to reach out to me. I'll help you in any way that I can. You don't have to buy the MySoil test kit for me to help you. I'm just glad that people are testing their soil because it's really important. I don't care where you get it done, just do it. So awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you found that useful on the lawn training. So, and again, be sure to use that if you guys want. Launch and learn is like, "Milo, just throw it down heavy." Yeah, I don't know about that. And then Daryl says you bought your stripe action tee and green stickers. I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. And and if you do want a stripe action t-shirt, you can't get this one because right now this one that Josh Habeeb made for me is currently one of one. But if you like my other stripe action t-shirts, the one you see me wearing the other live streams, if you go to YouTube, go to youtube.com/Ron Henry, and then there's a tab in there called Store. If you click on that Store, in there has like the hats, the shirts, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff that you guys can get if you like the shirt and if you feel like supporting the channel. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much, Daryl. I appreciate the support. Let's see. Andrew Winkleman says, "Hey, Ron, big fan." Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. He says, "I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth area." Ooh, you guys are probably covered up in snow. He says, "With 5 straight days below freezing and was hit with -1 degree for 12 hours. Eee. Says, "Reseeding my TifTuf 419 with Arden 15 in May. Did this freeze save me the cost of RoundUp in 2 months?" I'm not sure the question, Andrew. Did the freeze save you the cost of Roundup in 2 months? Oh, as if it's going to kill your grass? No. No. If what you're saying is, I think I understand your question now. If your plan was to knock out your Tifway 419, like you're to smoke that out and then put down Arden 15, like you're trying to do a renovation, no, a little bit of snow is not going to kill Bermuda, not permanently anyway. I mean, you may have a little bit longer time for it to green up once it gets warm, but the Tifway is going to come back. It's not going to no. You are still, if your goal is to get rid of it, and your plan was to use glyphosate to do that, you're still going to have to do that. Like the Tifway is going to come back as soon as the temps warm up. Unfortunately, sorry, no, it didn't save you from having to apply glyphosate. Princess Cut Lawn Care, George is in the house. What's up, George? How you doing? I'm doing well, sir. Thanks for coming and hanging out in the live stream. And if you guys are looking for another YouTube live stream that you'll check out, like George does does really good content. He's a really good live stream show. I think it's typically tomorrow night, like Saturday nights. And I think he's doing a series on lawn care freshmen. So like last week, he had Alan Hain, the lawn care nut, on his show, but he always has other YouTubers and stuff. So if you want to just kind of hang out and learn about what other people are doing, what their plans are, definitely go over there and support George. I think it's tomorrow night, typically Saturday nights around, I think it's 8 p.m. my time Eastern. But yeah, just check out Princess Cut Lawn Care, and you'll be able to see what he's doing. And then Lance understands this with St. Aug, you need to run a good fungicide program. Sure. I mean, with Bermuda, here's the thing. I had issues with lawn fungus like one time. I had brown patch like 3 or 4 years ago. And then I put down like Caravan G and it went away, and I was like a believer, and I've never had an issue since then. And that was when I was still learning a lot of this stuff and getting my program worked out. But so Bermuda, if it's fed well, if the soil is where it needs to be, and you're feeding it well, like Bermuda is a very, very hardy grass type. It's not as susceptible to a lot of diseases, or not as susceptible as like St. Augustine or some of the other cool season grasses. So that's one cool thing about Bermuda, which is why I like it so much. Great. And Chris, you're very welcome. You says, thanks for the info. Appreciate it. Homestead is located in South Florida. Okay. So you're way south. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Let's see here. So Chris, Josh Habeeb says a good question. This is a good one here. He says, when you say you spoon feed with liquid, are you applying your granular at full rate and then adding a liquid? Is spoon feeding a small amount more often, or both? Will you be adding Carbon Pro L with it? That's a mouthful. That's a lot going on. Okay, so we'll try and break this down. So when I say spoon feeding, I use it is challenging, or it can be challenging, to get all of the nitrogen that Bermuda calls for from a liquid. You can do it, but it's challenging to do that, especially in a volume that's not going to like burn the lawn or smoke the lawn, right? So what I tend to do is I use a granular that I apply at a rate of like, say, 1/2 pound of nitrogen per month. So I apply the granular, and the rate that the granular goes down at comes out to around 1/2 pound nitrogen per month. So that's taking care of like half of the nitrogen demands or so of the lawn monthly. And then I use something like this. So last year it was Brand Supreme Green, but this year it's going to be the Turfplex. And you're looking at that and you're saying, wow, it's a 22.3. That's a lot of nitrogen, it seems like, right? Yes and no, not really, because the rate that I'm applying this at, which is 6 ounces per 1,000, that equates to 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen at that rate. So what I can do is I can lay down my granular as the base to provide most of the nitrogen for the turf, and then I use a spoon, and I use this every couple of weeks. Every 2 weeks, I can apply that at that 0.10 rate, and between that and then the other like the compost products that I put down, like with the carbon that contains a little bit of N, just like trace amounts, that gets me into that 0.75, 0.8 pounds of nitrogen per month, which for my grass, that seems to work well. I know in general they say Bermuda calls for 1 pound to 1.5 pounds per month, but what I found is if you're not just relying only on fertilizer, like not only relying on just to feed the lawn, but you're also making sure the soil is as healthy as you can make it, like you're adding humates and carbon and things to really to free up a lot of the nutrition that are in the soil and make that available to the grass. By my calculations, 0.8 works out fairly well for me. For Tifway 419, there may be types of Bermuda that require more nitrogen, that are a little bit more nitrogen hungry, but for Tifway 419 and Arden 15, it seems to be very, very happy at 0.7, 0.80 pounds of nitrogen total per month, with half of that coming from granular and the rest of it being supplemented with this product, so hopefully that helps. That makes sense. So when you're asking if I'm applying the granular at full rate, full rate, I guess, full rate is kind of that's not necessarily an easy thing to define. I'm applying it at a rate of 0.5 pound of nitrogen per month. So hopefully, if that makes sense. So I'm applying it at the rate to get the amount of nitrogen that I want from a granular in my lawn over the course of the month. So I'm applying it at that rate. So the product that I'm going to be using, which I hopefully will be able to tell you guys about here soon, is going to be like 3 pounds of N or so, something like that. 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet is what it's going to go down at. And let's see, the rest of your question was around carbon products. Will I continue using those? Yes. So in addition to this, like with this, I will also probably be using the Mirimichi Green Release Zero. Really a big fan of that product. It's 10% micronized carbon and it has no NPK in it, right? So it behaves as almost like you can almost think of it as like a booster to anything you're putting down. Like the carbon is going to allow any fertilizer, any fungicide, anything that you're applying, that you're spraying on the lawn is going to work better with that Release Zero. And because it doesn't contain any NPK, it's not a source of nitrogen. So I can mix it with anything else that I'm putting down. When I'm putting down PGR, if I decide I want to put it in with that, I can do that, and it's not going to negatively affect my results. So hopefully that helps answer your question. So just to recap, 0.5 pound of nitrogen from granular, and then I'm going to be supplementing that with liquid nitrogen at 6 ounces per 1,000, which equates to 0.10 each time. So a total of 0.2 pounds additional nitrogen from liquid over the course of a month, getting us to that 0.7, 0.80 total N for the month. So hopefully that helps answer the question, Josh. If it doesn't, let me know. Send me an email, and we can talk through it, and I'll explain it. But yeah, it's both. I'm doing both, and the reason why you do that is to get more even color throughout the season. You don't have any porpoising where the grass gets really green and flushed and it kind of falls off. You get kind of more an even color throughout the entire growing season. That's the whole thing behind spoon feeding. The downside to it is that it takes time, right? So every couple of weeks you're gonna be out there spraying, but I kind of like spraying stuff on my lawn, so works for me. Let's see. Popo and Sun Lawn Care says, where can I get Arden 15? I used Hydrochain last year and I saw visual data. Okay, so Arden 15, you can get it on Amazon now. Outside Pride carries it, but also you can also get it from Hancock Seed. I actually called them today and they told me that they should have it in stock here, hopefully sometime next week. Like they got some seed in. They send it out for testing to test germination to make sure that everything works good with it before they start offering it to the public. But so next week, if you decide you want to get it in bulk, I would go to Hancock Seed. If you don't need that much of it, you can get it on Amazon. I think it's a company called Outside Pride that carries it. So it just depends on which one you want to go for. So you got 2 options for getting that Popo and Sun Lawn Care. And Hydrochain, I'm looking forward to seeing, man, because I think there's a lot of promise with that, and I think that will definitely help with keeping the seed properly hydrated throughout the season. So I'm really looking forward to incorporating that into my seeding process, because this the whole half of this year is literally all about trying to do all I can to get a good result with seeding the lawn, with getting that Arden 15 to really come in. All right. Let's see here. Brian Lenzon says, I received my soil test results and I'm off the charts in an A. I'm in SoCal and do not get a lot of rain, but I do have irrigation. Any tips on how to lower that? Tell you what, Brian, if you can, send me if you're fine with sharing it with me. I mean, I'm not gonna send it anywhere else, but if you're fine with sharing it with me, send me your soil test results. Like, shoot me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Let me look at it, because I mean, without seeing everything else that's going on, it's hard to give you like a one-word answer saying, yeah, do this, and it'll put you on the right track. I got no problem with helping you out, but just shoot me an email here if you don't mind. Ron@golfcourselawn.com with your soil test. Make sure you take a screenshot of it or a picture of it, and I'll help you out with some options for resolving the issue that you got going on there. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Here. Michael Harmer says, what made you decide to do pre-emergent? I feel like we have similar temps in Alabama, and I've been waiting until it quits going below freezing. So the thing with it, that's a great question, Michael. A couple things. One, when I did it in late January on Alex's lawn, we were already seeing temps in the 50s. And part of why we did it, I could have waited a few more weeks, but I wanted to make sure I also had some content out for people that want to apply pre-emergent, that are afraid to do it and want to see how to go about doing it. Like I wanted to create a really detailed guide, a really detailed video. That's why in that video, you notice that I don't do split apps. It's literally just one application, because my goal is for people that are kind of intimidated for trying it on, for taking that on. I wanted to outline a process they could follow. The negative, there's not really any negative to getting it down early. It's not like it's not going to work. You can still do it now if you want. Like we could have waited till now to do it. It's not going to really hurt anything. So to answer your question, it's not really there's not really any negatives to doing it. Like if you were doing split apps, you could have done one when I did mine, and then you could have done the second one, when temps go over 65 degrees. But yeah, I guess the proof will be in the pudding. We'll take a look at Alex's lawn in the spring, and I'm fairly confident there's not going to be weeds, because we did a pretty good pre-emergent app. But the long short of it is it doesn't matter. It's not that critical. In other words, early with pre-emergent, too late is bad. Too late is definitely bad. Like that is what you want to avoid. A little early is not going to really hurt anything. So hopefully that helps answer your question. You're right. We are in similar climates, but hopefully that helps answer your question. Great question. Let's see what other points we got here. We got Ricardo Mathulas. Lots of questions tonight. He says, "Hey, Ron, great channel. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it." He says, "I've got grub worms last fall, but I didn't treat it. I just removed the dead grass and reseeded. What should I do this spring to prevent it for this fall?" So you're going to want to use an insecticide. Probably one of the best products for grub worms is a product that Syngenta puts out called Acceloprin, and because it's really good, it's not cheap. That's one of the better grub worm products. Let me actually I can find it here. Yeah, so if you look here in the chat, copy paste, don't fail me. Look in the chat here, Ricardo. Say Ricardo there, and boom. Like that's a really good insecticide for grubs. I would not I would put something down to treat them. You can use that. You can also use Carbon Pro G, which I got Carbon Pro G on the brain. You can use Caravan G. Caravan G, which is a combination insecticide and fungicide product. It's not as good as Acceloprin. That's like Acceloprin is probably, in my opinion, one of the better products for taking care of grub worms. But I would apply that. That is what I would use to try and knock them back, because the thing with grubs, like what you're saying, you remove the dead grass, but they're just going to come back. Like when you reseed, they're going to wake once the temperatures are where they are optimal for them to begin waking up and doing their thing, begin attacking the roots. It's just going to happen all over again. So that's one of the cases where using a good insecticide really makes a lot of sense. Like grub worms and lawn fungus are two things you absolutely want to keep out of your lawn. So I would use something like Acceloprin, or Caravan G is another option. But Acceloprin is out of the two. If you can only pick one, Acceloprin is the better product. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Let's see here. Super TA has a question about reel mowing. He says, "I know the reasons behind a 6-blade versus 10-blade reel. My question is the difference in overall cut quality in real life view noticeably being eye-pleasing." That's a good question, Super TA. Here's the thing. I don't have a 10-blade reel mower. I don't have a 10-blade reel or access to one for my Greensmaster, or have another mower with 10-blade reel on it to be able to tell the difference. My TruCut, I think memory serves, I think it's TruCut's a 7-blade. I think I should know that, but my Greensmaster is an 8-blade, and the Greensmaster definitely looked like, visually the cut looks better with the Greensmaster. But granted, there's probably other reasons other than just the number of blades on the reel for that. But it's going to be really hard to say, Super TA, depending on the height of cut that you're at and the mowing frequency that you have. That's what's going to determine the difference between the 6 or the 10-blade. If it were me, I would split the difference, man. If you can get like something in the middle, like an 8-blade seems to be the sweet spot for most home lawns, somewhere in that space. I would rock that. But to answer your question, I've never actually done a visual comparison between a 10-blade reel and a 6-blade reel, or even a 10-blade or even 8-blade reel on the same turf with this similar mower, to be able to say, yes, this one looks visually different. I imagine there would be a difference. But I've just never done that to be able to say there would be, and there has to be, right? There has to be a difference, because otherwise they wouldn't do it. Otherwise they wouldn't use different numbers of reels for different mowing frequencies, you know, to speed up to change the clip rate. So there is going to be a difference. Whether you're going to be able to tell or not is a bit of a question, but there is a difference. And for most people, an 8-blade is the right answer for their home lawns. OSU Turfman says, of all the golf courses you worked on, which one is your favorite? I don't really work on golf courses. OSU turf lawn. I guess of all the golf course lawns that I worked on, was my favorite? Probably mine. I like mine. I like Alex's. His is really cool too. Between those two lawns, those are among my favorites. As far as golf course turfs that I like the best that I've ever been on, I've been on a lot of golf courses, and none holds a candle to Augusta National. Augusta National is what really caused a lot of this craziness. Like I keep saying it, you've never seen grass until you go to Augusta National. Like you just never, I mean, I could tell you, imagine the best lawn ever that you could ever imagine, and it's better than that. So that's the best way that's the best thing I can tell you as far as like how amazing the turf is there. And granted, they have a huge budget, so they can do it, but it's, but yeah, I don't actually work on golf courses, OS turf, man. Let's see. JG says, I know you have hoodies and long sleeves in the store, but any way you might add a crew neck, stripe actions, sweatshirts. I can do that. I think Teespring carries a crew neck stripe action. JG, I'll look into that. Actually, something I'll work on this weekend. If it is an option, I will get it up in the store. Now, here's the thing: when I put it up in the store, I'll have to send drop me an email, like what your email address is, or just reach out to me, and I can send you the link, the Teespring link to it, because whenever you put something in the Teespring store, it doesn't update on YouTube right away. It takes a long time because YouTube goes through the whole process of making sure you're not putting anything crazy on there, like nothing on the logo is crazy. So it's going to take a while before it's in the store. But if you send me an email, once it's up, I will let you know. I'll reach out to you and let you know, hey, it's on there now. You can take a look at it, and you can tell me if you like it, if that's along the lines of what you are going for. So cool. And there's my email address in case you need it. Let's see. What other questions we have here? Neil Schroeder says, hi, Ron. Any idea of how Zoysia can handle winter? I heard it grows as far north as Pennsylvania, New York, and PA. I was looking at it for Colorado. I'm sure it won't work, but with 70 degree days and over 90s, my Kentucky bluegrass is a chore. Here's the thing, man. It's a tough question to answer. I mean, can you get it to grow in in more northern climates? Probably, but is it going to do well? No, it's probably not going to do very well. So it's like what you'll end up with is a shortened season where the grass is just not gonna. You're not going to get a lot of the benefits of it. I personally wouldn't do it. If you're asking me if I'd recommend doing that, I just wouldn't. Like where you are in Colorado, like Kentucky bluegrass is probably a good choice, or rye is another, like a perennial rye could work. But yeah, the short answer to the question is I don't know. I don't know of anyone trying to grow Zoysia that far up north. And I know that it doesn't work as well in northern climates as it does down here in the south, right? Where we have a longer winter. So because what you're going to find is, even if you can get to grow, you're just going to have a shorter season. You can have a shorter amount of time when the turf is green, which you probably don't want. So I'd hate to have to see you go out and spend a bunch of money on, putting in turf, like putting in Zoysia sod, and then you not get a good result. So sorry I don't have a better answer for you. But that's that would be my I would say probably don't do it. All right. So Mr. Foles has a question here about, looks like pre-emergence. He says azoxidizon, dimension, or prodiamine on Bermuda. So the two that I've used out of that case are I forget the one that's in Spectacle Flow. Starts with an I think. I forget the name of the active ingredient in that one. But Dimension and Prodiamine are some of the more common ones. Prodiamine works great on Bermuda. Dimension works great on Bermuda. Also known as dithiopyr. You can find it like off-label under dithiopyr. Those work great under Bermuda, and they're relatively cost-effective. Some of the more exotic pre-emergents, like the Spectacle Flow from Bear, it's a really, really good one, but it's also really, really expensive. So yeah, all like of those that you list, I know Dimension and Prodiamine are really good on Bermuda. All right, guys, we have a celebrity in the house, guys. We have Alex Lee, of Project Golf Course Lawn of Fix My Ugly Lawn series, has decided to grace us with his presence tonight. Alex, hope everything is going well. So I'm trying to convince Alex to top dress just part of the lawn this year. We'll see. I'm still working on it. I don't think he's totally convinced yet, but we're gonna try. Plus he's got a crazy lawn neighbor, so I think it's gonna rub off on him anyway. we'll see. Oh, let's see. Hey, A Bear says, "Hey Ron, I know you always say buy a Reel Mower that when you buy a Reel Mower, say find someone that is local to service it. No one around me services reels, just the engine. Thoughts? Yeah, man. So in that case, what you might want to look into, A Bear, is something like a Swardman, because I know Lee and the guys at Reel Rollers have a service where you can send your reel into them. You take the cartridge out and send it to them, and they'll sharpen it and they'll send it back to you. And I think from what he was saying on the live stream last week, that their turnaround time is something like 72 hours. They don't keep it any longer than 72 hours. So Swardman might be your go-to in that case, because that's the way you're going to be able to get your reel freshened up without being able to have anyone nearby that can grind it. And if you're going to go that route, you can do what Papa did. I mean, depending on budget, I mean, this is not the cheapest option, but what you can do is you can have two cartridges, right? You could have like one that you keep in the mower and one you send out, so you always have a fresh one, so you're never really down in the main season as far as getting having a sharp reel to use. So sorry, I don't have a better answer for you, but there is a solution. Again, I know for a fact, I know a guy who can solve this problem, but it's going to have to be a Swardman, I think, because I don't know of anyone else that has that mail-in service. And then Brian chimes in. He says, "Wow, I did not know about that MySoil sample comparison. I'll have to get another one in the fall. Thanks." Yep, yeah, dude, it's something new they just launched, and it's really, really cool. So that's why I wanted to share it with everybody, because a lot of people just go out and they get like their soil test done, and they look at it one time, and then they don't use it. They don't use it as what I consider to be one of the best reasons to do soil testing, is to establish directional trend data, right? And like that comparison tool that they put in really makes that easy. You're not sitting there like with two Excel spreadsheets or two papers looking at them, trying to line things up and looking back and forth. Like literally, visually, it's very, very easy to see what's going on. So yeah, it's if you're using MySoil, definitely take a look at it. Pretty awesome. Yeah, Pacific Warsmith Lawn says, "Yeah, Brendan told me about that yesterday. Really cool to see it in action." Yeah, dude, it's pretty awesome. Pacific, I like it, and I think I showed you guys 3. I think that's the limit. I think you can compare up to 3 soil tests is what you're limited to, which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's good enough for like seeing that all at one time is plenty without getting information overload. So I think they struck the right balance there of being able to allowing you to put in 3 different tests to be able to look at. So awesome. Let's see what other questions we have here. Static Alpha. He said, "Oh, actually, no. I got a super chat from Helmet. Let me take care of that. It's Helmet. Don't can't be rude.
Received.
I appreciate it, Helmet. Thank you so much for the support, sir. I hope I didn't miss any other super chats. I've been like burned through these questions. If I did, please let me know. And if I did, I sincerely apologize. I don't think I did though. But if I did, just let me know in the comments." Static Alpha says, "Ron, what organic fertilizer do you recommend other than Milorganite? I'm looking for something that hits all NPK." It's a good question. I'm sure there are other ones out there. The only one that I've ever used is Milorganite. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. I'm sure there's some out there. Guys, any of you guys that are also on the organic route that are not using Milo, chime in for Static Alpha. There's another fert that you guys like that's organic. He's looking for an organic one that has all 3, like has all 3 of the macros in it. So if you got one, chime in. I don't know of any. I'm sure there are, but I've not really researched that because Milo's the one that I've primarily used. I know I think Ringer organic. I think Ringer's organic too, but I don't think that one's all 3 macros either. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you, Static Alpha. Okay, Frederick Duke, he says, "Hey Ron, I'm in Oklahoma. We've had a lot of snow. Suggestions to replace the nutrients in the soil coming out of winter." Yeah, so I mean, get a soil test done. Based on that, just start adding a granular to begin replacing those levels. So which you'll probably find if you've not been fertilizing your lawn, which you shouldn't be really during winter months, is that your nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus are going to be low. And based on what the soil tests say, maybe not phosphorus precisely, but definitely nitrogen will be low. Based on what the soil tests say, add a fertilizer that replaces those. Micronutrients are a little bit more of a challenge to bring up because they're in such small quantities that the best results I have with those. There are some granulars that will take care of some of the micronutrients, like typically you can find granular ferts that will have iron, manganese, and maybe zinc. You can find all 3 of those in a granular sometimes. But for the micronutrients, typically I find best results with just using a spray product. So I tend to use granular for the macros and like the secondary the secondary macros, like the ones that are between your that are not NPK but are in greater volumes than the micronutrients. And then I use a liquid for the micronutrients to fill in, like the copper, boron, zinc, and those types of things. And I should have something I'm gonna be able to show you here soon, as far as a great micronutrient product, Frederick Duke, that contains no NPK. I don't have it as yet, but when I do get it, I'll have it here on the live stream and I'll show it to you. So, but to answer your question, get a soil test done and buy fertilizer that that addresses what's missing. And if you need help with interpreting the soil test results once you get it, feel free to drop me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com, and I'll look through it and I'll help you out in any way that I can. If you need a soil test, I really like the ones from MySoil. There, shameless plug. And if you need one, you can get one at golfcourselawn.store. That's my online web store. But if you get one from somewhere else, that's fine too. Just send them to me. I'll still help you out in any way that I can. Very, very, very cool question. Let's see here. Stan G. When you do the TruCut mower, do you cut it full throttle or half throttle? I run it pretty much close to wide open, and I just slip the clutch. I slip the traction drive, because the TruCut is not like the Greensmaster where they're linked. Like with the Greensmaster, you drop the traction drive and then the clip rate and the clip rate is fixed, like as far as like the speed of the reel and the speed of the drive system, which is part of why they get just a good cut, because they're matched. With the TruCut, I don't do that. Like I run the TruCut, I run that a little bit higher and then kind of slip the traction drive as a means of running the TruCut. So yeah, that's one way of doing that. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so what other questions do we have? Let's see. Chaz Bishop wants to learn what other questions. And then Ron, he says here, L, he says, Ron, with all the free work that you put in at Reel Rollers recently, please tell us that Lee gifted you a new Swardman that's currently sitting in your garage. No, I cannot tell you that. He did not give me a new Swardman that is sitting in his garage. So yeah, no, not at all. And it's just cool, man. I mean, it's good to help each other out. I mean, I really like Lee, Andrew, Eric, and the rest of the team at Reel Rollers are really great guys. Like, they do a lot for the community, like building the turf park. Yes, it's good for their business because they can show, mowing on different types of turf. But yeah, it's but as far as do any kind of exchange or anything like that, nah. It was fun to make the content. It was cool to make the comparison for you guys, and yeah, that was great stuff. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Oh, super sticker from William Foster. I appreciate it.
Super chat received.
He says, pure character, look at himself, saying, thank you for being my hearts with eyes popping out. I appreciate that. William Foster, really appreciate it. Let's see what other questions we have here. Gary Gale says, hey, Ron, do you ever use Simple Lawn Solutions products? And if yes, which one can you use? It's good. I haven't used their products. I used to recommend one of their micronutrients in replacement for Brand Supreme Green, but they stopped making it, or like it wasn't available on Amazon anymore. I couldn't really find it, so that's why I went to the Turfplex as my liquid fert. I think their products are pretty good. I think Ryan Norer uses at least a lot of their stuff, and it seems to work really well on his lawn. I'm sure it's good stuff. But I've not really used it. I've always had like a liquid fert that I like. Like the last few years, it was Brand Supreme Green. But because you guys were saying a lot of times that you were not able to really get it. And that was something that it's really not cool for me to make a bunch of content about using a bunch of products that you guys don't have access to. So that's hence why I did some research and came across the BioPro, and that's what I'm going to be using going forward. So, but no, nothing wrong with the Simple Lawn Solution stuff. It works really well on Ryan's lawn. Let's see. Marco Brown, the age-old question. He says, is soil or sand better for leveling? The answer is both. I would not do 100% soil, Marco. It's just not, here's the reason why. Can you top dress or can you level your lawn with 100% soil? Yes, but it's not going to last very long because it's going to break down, and then you're going to and it's just not going to the nutrients. I mean, the beauty of using soil is that you are introducing a lot of great organic material, which is always good. But for a leveling medium, it's not as good because it breaks down. What I think is better is to use a blend. So use like a 70-30 mix. That tends to be the sweet spot. 70% soil, 70% sand, 30% soil. That's a good blend of leveling and also introducing some organic material to the turf as well too. So it's not really one is better than the other. It's like you want to use a combination of both. Or again, if you're feeling like a baller and you can afford to do it a more expensive way that is going to reduce the likelihood of introducing weeds into your lawn, you can use like Carbon Pro G or use Mirameter Greens like their Carbonized PN, which spreads really well with a top dressing machine, and then as your organic material, and then also add just use 100% river sand on top of that. So hopefully that helps. Let's see here. John Gotch has a question about Arden 15. He says, Ron, when do you think 25 pounds of Arden 15 will become available on Amazon? So here's the thing, that will become available whenever Hancock Seed starts making it available. So I would imagine in the next week or two, once they start selling on their main site, it's also going to be available on Amazon. So John, once it's there, what I'll do is, if you want, I'll do like a YouTube post, like a community post saying, hey, Arden 15 is now available. It's now on Amazon. I'll put a link up there in case you guys want to get it. Or you can just keep checking, Hancock Seed's website to be able to see there too. So, but it's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be available soon. I literally spoke to them today and asked them, hey, when's it coming out? So, I got to get my seed, got to get myself ready for the season. And they told me, hopefully sometime next week is when it should be available for sale. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Oh, it's a good question here. It's a good one from Maurice Anderson. He says, hey, Ron, how do you accurately measure grass height and reel mower height of cut? Okay, to measure grass height, for most homeowner lawns, you can use just a ruler, like a precision. I don't have one here, but you can use like a precision ruler to check it. I use my digit like this. Well, it's not going to focus, but like I use my finger, like the digit as like that's an inch. So I use that as my measuring tool. If you guys watch a lot of my videos and I said, hey, how tall is the height of cut? I take my finger and I stick it in the grass and show you, and that gives you like an idea of how tall it is. As far as setting the reel mower height of cut, you need an AccuGauge, and see if I can do this without, let me see if I can get one down. Hang on one second. You need one of these guys. Yeah, so you need, for a reel mower, you need like something like this from AccuProducts International. What this is, if I can get this to focus, is it's a tool that connects onto the bed knife. And what it has is a dial indicator, which you can see there. You see that? It allows you, so this portion, this tang goes on the bed knife, and the bar goes between the front roller and in my case, the Greensmaster, the rear drum. And then you're able to use this to adjust the height of cut on the mower. So a tool like this, I mean, they're not inexpensive, but these are worth their weight in gold if you're very, very serious about getting a great height of cut. As far as getting like a really clean, a really very precise cut in where you're not going to get where one side of the mower is higher or lower than the other. Using one of these guys is a great idea. That is what I would that's what I would go with. So and you can get these at AccuProducts. So go to AccuProducts.com, AccuProducts International. And the one that I have, this is the, go to AccuProducts.com and look for the AccuGauge. And I've got a video on my channel, Maurice, that shows you exactly how to use one of these guys in excruciating detail. So once you get one, I've already got you covered on how to make the best use of it. Just check my channel. Just do like, actually, if you just search for like Ron Henry AccuGauge, the video will come up and it'll show you exactly how to do it. And actually, the video is on their website. So if you were to go to AccuProducts, if I can pull this up, AccuProducts. Let's see if we can make this work. Let's see if we can, if the demo gods will play nice with me. All right, so let me pull this up here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Bam. All right, get rid of my face, and then go to AccuGauge mowing tool, gauging tools. And in here, you've got lots of different options. What you want is this one here, the AccuGauge. like that guy is the one. And there's tons of different options, but this is the one you're going to want to go with. And at the very bottom, what you're going to find is I did some instructional videos. Like one of my videos for setting the height of cut are both on AccuGauge's website. So if you are if you don't feel like going to YouTube, you can simply go here, and both the how to set up an AccuGauge and how to set up a groomer gauge are both of those are on their website. So yeah, but hopefully that helps answer your question. Support those guys. John, the guys that run that shop are really, really good. They do a great service to the community. And, and if you have any questions after watching the video, just drop it in the comments and I will do my best to help you out. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Terrell is saying, hi, Ron, my garage is full of liquid and granular fertilizer plus all kinds of different lawn care for this season. Wondering what your shelves look like. My shelves are not really too crazy, man. Like I tend to use up stuff until it's gone. Like I don't believe it or not, it looks like I put a lot of stuff down on my lawn, but I don't switch between products that much. Like, like if you guys watch, like as far as like the liquid product I was using, it was Brand Supreme Green for several years. And the only reason why I'm really switching away from it is because the Turfplex is something that you guys can also use. That's going to be available. So I just switched to something. And it's also a better product as well too. Like the nitrogen sources in it that are better. It also has a micronutrient package. It's going to be a better product for what I'm trying to do. And you guys can also get it, which is good. And then like for my growth regulator, use T-Nex. And then for my carbon, it's been the same stuff. So my shelf looks pretty much the same. I don't have a lot of stuff that's unused, Daryl. Yeah. So hopefully that helps answer your question. I don't have a lot of stuff on there that I haven't gone through. I still have a lot of Milo, believe it or not. So that's one thing I do have. I've got like 7 bags of Milo that I need to use up, or actually what I'll probably do is I'll help. There's a couple people in the neighborhood that some of the guys like Tony needs some fertilizer on his lawn, and then Chiming, he needs some fertilizer on his lawn. So I'll probably use up some of the Milo on their lawns to get them going here in the next couple of weeks. But outside of that, I don't really have anything else that I'm not actively using. All right, so question here from Andrew Wynn. He says, hey, Ron, looking to put out my Prodiamine soon. If 0.80 is max for the year, should I split it 4-4 spring and fall? You could do that. How would you go about this if Prodiamine is the only pre-emergent use? Great content. Thank you so much, Andrew. A couple different ways you can go about this, okay? So if your goal is to use Prodiamine in the spring and the fall, and you don't want to, and you're not trying to do a split application in the spring, then what you're describing will work. Yes. So before soil temps get above 50, 55 degrees, you're going to want to put down the 0.40 rate of Prodiamine in the spring, and then just save that other half rate, that other 0.4 that you have left per ounce per thousand for the fall. If you're trying to do a split app, so we're going to get a little more geeky, but I'm sure you're a smart guy. You can follow this. What we can do is this. You can do like a rate of like 0.18 or 0.20 now, like before temps get to above 55 degrees. And then once soil temps cross 65, you can put down another 0.20 to get you a little bit more weed suppression, a little more weed control into the spring and summer months, and then save the remaining 0.4 for the fall. So the total number, regardless of how you do it, can exceed or should not exceed 0.83. I say 0.80 because it makes it easier for the math, but 0.83 is the max. So you can either do half now, half in the fall, or you can do like 0.2 now, 0.2 again at 65 degrees. So that's typically like April, May around here. And then in the fall, you do the remaining half of your annual allotment of Prodiamine. So does that make sense? If not, let me know. Just drop me an email, or actually, better yet, if it doesn't make sense, like I have a YouTube video on applying pre-emergent, specifically on applying Prodiamine. Like, leave a comment in there, and I'll answer it. But or if you want, you can also email me, and I'll explain it again too, as far as application rates of how to go about doing what I just explained to you. So hopefully that helps. Let's see what other questions you say here. Anthony Bello says, would you recommend dethatching centipede grass in the spring, or will all the dormant grass turn green again? Yes. So if you want to dethatch, you can. It's not going to hurt anything. And yes, the dormant grass, best way to answer it. So the grass that's now dormant will become green again. That's the best way to say it. Once you start cutting it, once you start mowing, it's going to green up. Like mowing the lawn is going to encourage fresh growth, new growth, assuming temperatures are where they need to be. So yes. So is dethatching a good idea, Anthony? Sure, you can do that. It's a great way to thin out the turf, and again, get some more. If you've got like a thatch buildup problem, a lot of thatch in your lawn, doing dethatching is a good way to kind of thin out the canopy, get more heat down in the soil to help the lawn wake up a little bit better to get rid of that thatch. But yes, to answer your question, it will green up again. It absolutely will. Great question. Great question. Let's see what other questions we have here. Daryl is horrible. He says, I'm off work and I get to watch live. We have 8 inches of snow in Mississippi. That's brutal. I am sorry to hear that, man. It's crazy this year. It's crazy this year that Texas got so much snow, man. I mean, it's been weird. This has been a weird year as far as weather. I'm really glad that it missed us here in Georgia. But yeah. Oh, thanks, John T. Yep, I know it starts with an N, but I mean, because it's one of the lesser used ones, I couldn't remember the active ingredient. So yeah, indaziflam for spectacle flow, and that's a really really good one. Just bring your wallet. Bring your wallet if you're going to go for that one. Again, I don't know too many homeowners that use spectacle flow on their home lawns because it's a great pre-emergent, but it's just so expensive. It's so expensive. Let's see here. Ralph Oliver says, I'm laying celebration sod in my backyard next weekend. What are your thoughts on using RGS to stimulate root growth? I think it probably will work just fine. I think a lot of people use RGS and they have great results with it. So yeah, I mean, if that's the stack you want to go with, go for it. I mean, I think you'll get great results. There are people that I can tell you that like if you're also looking for like a granular product, like Carbon Pro G, or even if you can get some that carbonize PN, if you have a way to spread it, is also really good. If you're putting down sod, let's say you have like your backyard's bare, in between the soil and the sod. If you want to put down some of that, I think RGS you spray on the sod after it's been applied, but the carbon products like the Carbon Pro L, the Carbon Pro G or the carbonized PN. Those you would put down prior to laying the sod on top of it. So, but there's also great options for that. But yeah, to answer your question, I know a lot of people that have there are people that have used RGS and have had great results with it. I've personally not used it, but I think it's probably a fine product. I mean, they wouldn't be selling a ton of it if it wasn't. I mean, Alan carries it, and I think he's a big fan of it. So. You can't really go wrong with that. He's pretty picky about the stuff that he puts on his lawn. Let's see what other questions do we have. We got a couple of super chats from LG. Thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
LG says, this live stream has saved my marriage. Many thanks from JG and LG. You're very well. If that's the case, you're very welcome. If that's the case, I'm sure you guys are just kidding, but I appreciate the kind words, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me on Friday night. I know you guys have other things you could be doing, and I really appreciate that you guys take the time to hang out. And then also Josh Habeeb.
Super chat received.
This is great show as always, Ron. Who else thinks Ron's AccuGauge should be the community AccuGauge? Just pass it around. Here's the thing, man. These things are somewhat delicate, man. Like, you don't want to drop them. You'd have to be really careful about shipping this. This is one of my prized possessions. I only get to use it a couple times a year, but you know what it is? You know what the thing with this is? The reason why this tool is cool, it's kind of like also like the soil test probe that MySoil puts out. It's a piece of equipment that is really over-engineered. I mean, it's built like a tank, right? And it's just a pleasure to use because it does, even though you don't use it that often, or at least I don't use it that often, it does the job really, really well, and it just works. Like, I know that sounds really basic. It shouldn't seem like that. You should be that excited about that, but just finding a tool that actually does what it's supposed to do without a lot of headache that's one of the best compliments. You can give kind of like whenever some of my friends, when I help them with set up wireless networks for their homes, like I use some of the Ubiquity stuff, some of the more high end wireless stuff, and they always say I said one of the best compliments someone can give you when you do a proper wireless network in their house is that they don't notice it. Like, it just works when you walk in the house. Like, wireless just works, and a good tool, it just works. So that's definitely it. The same is true for the AccuGauge. Not inexpensive, but if it's worth every penny, in my opinion. In comparison to what you spend on like a mower, you spend a bunch of money on a greens mower. Like, the tool to set it up is like small potatoes, right? So let's see what else we have here. And Neil says, "Thank you, sir. Keep up the good work. I guess I'm gonna have to keep up the KBG." I would, man. I would not. You could try and force Zoysia in there, but I mean, Zoysia one is not inexpensive, and I'd hate for you to go and spend all that money and not get a good result, or get like a 2 month season or 2 months where the lawn actually looks good, and the rest of the time it's dormant. I wouldn't do that. Scotland in the house from across the pond. Hey, say welcome to the craziness. I definitely appreciate the international crowd. Thank you so much for chiming in to the live stream and hanging out. I'm sure in Scotland. I wonder what kind of grass. I guess it's all cool season grass in Scotland, right? I imagine it would have to be probably like rye or something along those lines. Let's see. Papa Moslow says maybe he'll give one away. An AccuGauge. The channel's got to get bigger. I say if the channel gets big enough, I would consider doing one. Or maybe if I can, if it gets big enough and I can talk to the guys at AccuGauge and see, maybe they might consider doing it. But here's the thing. I would want to make sure that if I did it, here's the issue with doing something like this, right? Like giving away a soil test kit, like anybody can use, right? Anyone can do this. But I would not want to give one of these away to somebody that doesn't actually have a greens mower. It's not actually going to use it. Like I want to make sure that whoever gets it is going to actually have a need for it and use it. So that's why like a specialty tool like this is a little bit harder to do and not be it's so specialty. You have to really make sure that you want someone that's actually going to use it is going to get it. Let's see. John Teague says R&R also has great gauges and everything else you need to fix your reel. It's a good idea. I'm sure R&R also has great products too. My level rake is an R&R rake built like a tank. Really, really good rake. Let's see. Albatron says Ron, Aldo. So hi. Hopefully you're doing well. Oh yeah, your question is how often is this stream? The stream is I aim to do it every Friday at 7 p.m. So the times when it won't happen is if obviously something crazy happens, like if work gets in the way, which fortunately that has not been a thing lately, or if if we're doing a black belt test at the studio, like if I have to proctor on a Friday night because we're doing a test, like that's going to pull me away from the stream. But outside of that, my goal is to be here every Friday night at 7 p.m. to answer all of your lawn care questions. Let's see. So hopefully that helps. And typically what happens, Aldo, is Wednesday, usually Thursdays. If you look at the announcement page, I'll put a link of what the live stream is, like the link to like where it's going to be. Like I set it up ahead of time so you can bookmark it or set a reminder or whatever you want to do. But every Friday. Let's see here. So Daniel Ferrer says Prodiamine or dithiopyr, granular or liquid. Either one can work, man. Either one can work. You're gonna get more value. I won't say you can get more value for your money, but your money goes further with the liquid, with the water dispersible granule. For a good example, like this container of Prodiamine. This is a water dispersible granule. This is 5 pounds or 80 ounces. And for warm season grass, this treats up to 96,000 square feet, something like that. I think I did the math on it one time. So it's a ton. So like this $66, 70 bucks, 96,000 square feet, right? In a granular, it's more expensive. Like you can buy like some of the granular, like the Sunnyland 007, that also contains Prodiamine. That's like $40-50 a bag, and that doesn't treat nearly. I think it goes up to 15,000 square feet, but not nearly as much as the liquid. So the difference, the downside to the liquid is that you have to, like, if you go watch my video on how you mix them up, it's a lot more involved to apply the liquid. It's not hard, it's not difficult, but you just need to pay attention to it. And if you are trying to decide, I actually at Reel Rollers last weekend, I shot a video showing you how to do both. So I will put this right here. So if you look, let's see, so granular and liquid pre-emergent. So pre-em and bam, there you go. So that is a video that I did that I show applying liquid Prodiamine and granular Prodiamine at the same time, or not same time, but on the same day, on the same types of grass, like what's involved in doing both of them so you can decide for yourself. But typically you're gonna get better value for money going with the liquid. You just gotta mix it. And then dithiopyr, also known under, I think it also goes as Dimension under the name brand, is gonna be a little bit more expensive than Prodiamine, but it also is, whereas Prodiamine is strictly a pre-emergent, dithiopyr, however you pronounce it, also has some post-emergent properties as well too. So it's a pre-emergent and for like, baby crabgrass, it can also kill that too. So that's, so it costs a little bit more, but it should cost a little bit more because it does more stuff, right? So prodiamine is strictly before, and dithiopyr will do both. Let's see. Richard Nettles says, will there be a live stream without ads? And merch, can I just pay for that? Unfortunately, sorry, sir. There's no way to get both. There's not really. I'm not going to do another edit of just that. Unfortunately, I apologize. Let's see. Let's see what other questions we have here. Other questions in the live stream. Looks like we're rounding down. I'm talking you guys out, man. I'm wearing you out. Normally, it doesn't happen this soon, but looks like we're getting there. Let's see. Justin Aguilar says, what about TifTuf Bermuda? Is it the next best Bermuda? It's a great Bermuda. It's a good cultivar. I don't have it. The turf at Reel Rollers is TifTuf. So they have 3 plots. They have the El Toro Zoysia. Help me out here. What was the third one? I'm drawing a blank. Xeon. So El Toro, Xeon, and then the actual Bermuda is the TifTuf. One thing I have to say is they put the TifTuf all the way at the end. I kind of feel kind of slighted that they're kind of pushing the Bermuda off by itself. But another way to look at it is that the Bermuda is the thing that you see first as you drive up to Reel Rollers. So I guess maybe they're putting it in the most prominent position. So I guess it all depends on perspective. But to answer your question, Justin, there's not really a best. TifTuf is another great Bermuda. TifWay 419 is a great Bermuda. Arden 15 is a great Bermuda. They're all like any of the new ones are going to be just fine. TifTuf is one that I believe is supposed to have kind of like Arden 15, great wear tolerance, great cold weather resistance. It's just a great grass type. You're not gonna go wrong with any of the newer Bermudas. Let's see. Love My Lawn has a question about negate. Okay, she says, I just bought a new house in Dallas and I have a ton of POA. Can I use negate and a hose end and wipe it out? So you can use negate for POA. I would not use it on a hose end sprayer. No, I wouldn't do that. No, because negate is, again, once you start getting into some of the what are really the professional level herbicides, you really need to pay attention to. You really got to pay attention to the instructions as far as like how you mix it. The video that I did showing how to apply Image, which is effective against POA, it just takes a long time. Like Image will kill annual bluegrass, it will kill POA. It just takes 3 to 5 weeks to do it. So if you've got the time and you want to be patient and you want something that's relatively easy to apply, Image is a great option. If you want to apply negate, you're going to need a backpack sprayer to do it properly. And you also need a couple other things. I don't have my tip and pour here, but like negate, like the one little container, I think it's an 1.5 ounce container of negate, like that contains 2 different granules for the 2 of the different active ingredients that are in it. And you need to take the entire contents of that and mix that. You need to create like an intermediate solution. So you take like a tip and pour, put say a gallon of water in it, dump the entire contents of negate into that gallon, so that 128 ounces of water, and then mix it, suspend it. And then out of that mixture, you can take 3 ounces of that mixture and mix it with 1 gallon of water, and that will cover 1,000 square feet. So you see how it's a little bit more complicated? So it's definitely not something we're gonna do out of a hose end sprayer. You definitely wanna use a backpack sprayer to do this. And there is a process for doing negate. I've got some, I need to do a video on it. Probably should just do a video on using that. But again, just in a nutshell, just to recap really quickly, get a tip and pour. You can get those on Do My Own. Go to Do My Own, get a tip and pour. A 1 gallon one, put 1 gallon of water in it, 128 fluid ounces of water, put the entire contents of negate into that. And that is now your suspended mix. Mix that up, make sure it's good suspended really, really well. And of that mixture, the rate at that point is 3 ounces of that tip and pour solution per 1,000 square feet mixed with 1 gallon of water. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, drop me an email here. Love My Lawn. I'll help you out. I'll go over it with you. But absolutely, do not spray that out of don't try and spray that out of a hose end sprayer. You definitely want to use a back end sprayer for it, and you want to do it the right way. Can negate once you get away from Image, you're starting getting the more professional level herbicides. You really got to like label. As Jake the lawn care kid said on the live stream. I couldn't say any better than Jake said it. Label is law. Like you really got to follow what the label says and follow it. So you don't over apply, under apply. or do something that can pose a health risk to yourself as well. So if you want to use negate, reach out to me, ron@golfcourselawn.com. I'll help you out. But what I just described is how you would go about doing it using a backpack sprayer. You can't do it with a hose end sprayer. I would not do that. And sorry you're dealing with POA. POA stinks, man. It's a pain to deal with. Let's see. Helmet Ruckus said, how do you feel about creating a general info sheet and about how to put down fertilizer, iron, carbon, micro products like week per month per year? I am going to do that. I'm going to create a blog post for that helmet. It's going to be on the store at golfcourselawn.store. I'm going to have it as a blog post there. The thing is, there's some of the products that I want to use in that. As I do that, I want to make sure I have all of them first, because it does you guys no good for me to do a post saying, if you want to address the micronutrients, this is the stuff this is what I'm using, but you can't get this. That's no good to anybody. So I will do that. The challenge with that here's the challenge with that helmet. Like, I am all a fan of application calendars. I think they have a lot of value. But like, what I do with my lawn, like especially like the spoon feeding program, where I'm applying the granular monthly, and then I'm spoon feeding the lawn, right? And then I'm adding carbon in with that. And once temperatures get high enough, I'm also doing plant growth regulator. Like, it's a lot of stuff. It's not like a ton of nitrogen or a ton of nutrients, but it's just a concoction that I find that works very well. So for most people, they're going to find the cost of doing that kind of off-putting. So I am going to do it. My goal is to put together 2 calendars. One that's going to be like, if you're just trying to get your lawn looking really, really good, and you want like a sort of a base program that's going to get you really good results, I'm going to have a calendar for that. And then I'm going to have another, like, in that same blog post, if you're going for the insane, Ron Henry, this is what everything you're going to, this is, if you want to do exactly what I'm doing, I'm going to lay all that out for you too. There's not going to be any charge for it, any cost for it. And you guys can follow that. I'm also going to have it also in the course at golfcourselawn.com that I'm working on. That should be pre-launched here soon if I can ever get some of the products that I'm putting in it. But yeah, that's gonna be available. I am gonna do that. I've just been waiting to do it because I want to make sure that when I do so, it's one that I do both versions, and then I also make sure the products that I am showing are ones that you guys can easily get access to. I don't want to always have to make it a pain like I was doing with the Brand Supreme Green for like 2 years where no one could get this stuff. So that is it is in the works. But great question. I'm glad to hear that you're interested in seeing that. Let's see. Real Low Dad says you should be using your Height of Cut gauge more than a couple times a year. Height of Cut needs to be checked often. Things can get out of adjustment. You're absolutely right. So I should say that when I say I only use it a couple times a year or a couple times per season, I really only use it to set the height of cut, and then it'll go on to check real quick and then off. So I should have clarified that. Real Low Dad, you're absolutely right. So I do break out the AccuGauge to check the height of cut occasionally. The thing is that I found though, dude, with the Greensmaster, it holds a setting really, really, really well. Like, literally, the height of cut that I set on it when I raised it up to 0.75 after top dressing last July, like, it held that all the way up until Jerry Pate came and picked it up to sharpen it. So I definitely get what you're what you're saying. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But I do use it outside of just setting the height of cut. I do use it to check the height of cut, because it's nice to take it out every now and then and hold the AccuGauge and play with a super cool piece of equipment. Let's see here. The last few questions. So Bill NG says, what's the best way to treat moss? So it depends on why you have moss, Bill. So a couple things that we want to look at before I start telling you about products to throw down for treating moss. Let's figure out why it's happening. So if you're dealing with a really heavily shaded area, or an area where there's not a lot of drainage, those kinds of conditions are also ripe for moss becoming a thing, as well as lower soil pH. I mean, if you think of memory serves me, lower soil, like more acidic soil, is like moss likes that better. So assuming that none of that's true, so let's assume that you've got plenty of sunlight, you got great drainage, and your soil, like your pH, is where it needs to be. Like, all that is good. We're assuming that all that's good. Then a product that is easy to get your hands on, called Moss EX, Moss X. It's from Scott's. That's a decent product for taking care of it. I don't know if I have. Let me see if I have that in here. I don't think I have a link to that, but yeah, just go on Amazon and search for Moss X, Moss-EX. I think the bag is green in color, if memory serves me. If memory serves me what it looks like. So I've told people about that one before. Like, you can use that, but make sure all the environmental stuff are in good order too. Because in other words, you want to minimize, and not to get off a segue here, but you want to minimize like how much like herbicide, fungicides, in this case, things that take care of moss, you're applying to your lawn. You want to make sure that environmentally you're doing all the right stuff to make the conditions unfavorable for moss to grow. And at that point, we can use like something like Moss X to kill it off and to make it more difficult for it to compete against the stuff that we want to actually grow there, like our turf grass. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Let's see what other questions, what points we have here. Dwayne Hopkins says, love the channel. Thank you so much, Ron. I appreciate it, Dwayne. Thank you for the support. Super chat from Super TA.
Super chat received.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's see what other points we have here. Justin Halder says, you're the best, Ron. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys like hanging out with me on a Friday night and watching the live stream. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. It's fun. I mean, it's cool how this started out as something just to kind of pass the time in last fall, and how it's grown into something that's really been, I hope, a good service to you guys, and also a service for me, because it's fun. I get to learn about what's going on in different parts of the country, different types of lawn problems you guys are having, both cool season and warm season grass. So, I'm helping you guys out, but you're also helping me out to further my knowledge and also find areas that I need to improve and learn more about. So it's definitely really cool. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me on the live stream, and I hope you guys are getting some value out of it. Looks like somebody's having a baby. Left tool. I think I saw that left tool. You're having one of you guys had you didn't have the baby. I think you better have had the baby. I saw it on Instagram. Congratulations. Congrats. In other words, I hope everything is fine with baby and mom. And awesome, man. Yeah, I saw your Instagram post. So congrats. I think it was Lawn Tools. Congratulations on that. Let's see. So JG is saying, thanks for another fun evening. Can't wait for spring to get busy. You and me both. Let's see. Let's see. What else do we have here? And then Left Tool says, right now we could all use some of your insight on combating snow mold. I got a solution for you, Left Tool. It's going to be an expensive one. And it's going to mean you're going to have to start liking Bermuda. You're going to have to kind of uproot and move down here. And here's the thing, man. You guys already have like a baller greens mower. Like, you guys got like the greened out greens masters. You already got the right tool. Just come on down to the south, man, and then you won't have to deal with snow as much. But all jokes aside, I don't know what to tell you for snow mold, man. I've never dealt with that one, unfortunately. So I don't have an answer on that one. Let's see this. Yep. So you did confirm a Left Tool is the one with the child. So yeah. So again, congrats on the baby. Congrats on the baby. Well, guys, well, cool. So we in the spirit of soil testing. I made you guys suffer through. Listen to me talk about the new MySoil test kit. And their graphs and everything they got as far as being able to model your soil test results. So in that vein, tonight we will be giving away a MySoil test kit. I'll give you one of these. So any of you guys that are on the fence about getting your soil testing done and you want to get started, tonight I'm going to be giving one of these away. So the question of the evening, it's a pretty easy one. You guys are going to be able to get this. And I'm going to get where's my stopwatch. Hopefully not too many people chime in, because it'll be interesting to see how long it's going to take me to do the Google thing. All right, so let me clear this. All right, stopwatch. So the question of the evening is, which pre-emergent softball? I gotta come up with harder questions for you guys. Which which pre-emergent did I apply in my first video this year on applying pre-emergents? The one we did on Alex's lawn. You have 30 seconds starting now. In the meantime, I'll look at other questions in here. Yeah, Richard Harwood says you could apply a fungicide before snow hits. Come on, focus, autofocus, get me. There we go. All right, you guys can see that time is counting. See if anyone has a question. Who's coming in? This is like very many people want it. So LG says Prodiamine. That may or may not be right. I don't know. We'll see. John Cruz says Prodiamine. Papa Most Low says Prodiamine. and JG Prodiamine, and time. All right, time is up. So we have only a few people tonight in the that are actually. We got LG, we have John Cruz, we have JG, we have LW50. It's really Prodiamine, but because you said dithiopyr here, and that is a pre-emergent, we'll count it. We'll take it. John Gotch, John G, Chris. I'm gonna have to figure out another way of doing these going forward because this is beginning to be a problem. Josh Habeeb, Josh H, and Philip. Philip questions is how much is the Turf Plus? I think it's 40. It's in the 40s. It's on my go to my website here. Philip, as far as the question, like go to golfcourselawn.store and it's listed there. It's on the main page. I think it's 48, 45, somewhere in there. You have to look on there. It's in the 40s. Let's see. So Josh H is the last one that I had. Helmet Ruckus. Helmet is in there. Asas is in there. And Grace is in there. I may have to do 2 soil test kits because we have a lot of people here. Grace and Maurice. And I think we're getting close here. Maurice, Telly P. Daniel, Alex, Ryan. See, it's funny. All the lurkers, you start giving away free stuff, and all the lurkers show up. John Teague is in the house. John T, and then Chaz Bishop. Let's see, Chaz. Daryl Tunstall. Actually, it's not gonna be that bad. And then George. We have George, Princess Cut Lawn Care, and Hilldale. Let's see, Hilldale, and I think we're good. Hilldale, and then Andrew Wynn. Okay, Andrew Wynn, Andrew NG. All right. So I think I got everybody. Did I miss anyone? Richard Nettles. I think I got you in here, Richard. So let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. Just to recap here real quick. Okay, so we have. Can I show this? Can I do this without making a mess? Let's see. TextMate. Yeah. So we have. Let me go through here. We have LG, John Cross. Actually, put my face up here as well. So we got LG, John Cross, JG, LW50, John G, Chris, Josh, Helmet, Osas, Grace. That's 10. Maurice, Telly P, Daniel, Ryan, John, we're at 15. Alex, Chaz, Daniel, Tunstall, Princess, Hilldale, 20. And then finally, last 2, Richard and you doing this. So it's 22. Is that right? My math right, guys? I think I'm at 22. So let's go back here. Go to Safari and come back to me. So I think we're at 22, and I think I got everybody. And Papa Mo's Low. Papa Mo's Low is in there. So 23. Okay, right? So we're at 23. So let's go, and I think Philip, I already got you. Philip, did I get you? No, I didn't get Philip. Okay, so we'll add Philip. So that's 24. So okay, it is closed now. So we were gonna make this as scientific as possible. No funny business here on the Ron Henry live stream. Let's go to the Google. Let me switch over so you guys can see my screen. All right, so we said there are 24. Did I miss someone? I missed Daniel, you said? All right, we'll add Daniel. So that's 25. All right, so Daniel, so our number is 25 people, and we will pick now. I'm clicking generate now. You guys are seeing this live with me, and the winner is number 10. Number 10 is, we're gonna do 2 soil test kits. So the first one is number 10, and if we go back to our text file, so you guys are doing this with me, you can see what's going on here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grace Ortiz. Grace, you are the winner of one of the MySoil test kits. So we'll pull you out. Congratulations, Grace. Congratulations. We will lower the number by 1, and we'll go to 24. So the second kits, we're only doing 2 tonight. We're at 24. Grace is the first one. Fingers crossed. And we will run it. Number 15. Who is 15? Let's see. So Grace Ortiz, be sure to drop me an email. We'll go back to this to the text file. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alex, I'm not sure which Alex that was, but Alex, you are the winner. I could have used the numbers on the side, right? So Alex and Grace, if you guys don't mind, please send me an email with your mailing address of where you want your soil test kit sent to here at ron@golfcourselawn.com. Please do that. And we'll get that sent out to you guys. And just as a consolation, because I'm feeling especially charitable tonight, what I will do is we'll do one last thing for a stripe action sticker. We're going to give you guys one of these. One sticker. So we've got, let me pull one person out. Let me pull Alex out. You're out, Alex. You guys one more chance to win. It's not going to be a soil test kit, but it's a sticker. And I think they're kind of cool. So let's go back to the Google. The last part of our giveaway. We're at 20, said 23. So I got to take one out. So we're at 23 now. And the winner of the sticker is number 10. You guys saw me do it. It just went back to 10. And the winner for that is going to be, let me go here to my text file. That's going to be Maurice. Looks like he's number 10. The 10th row here, you can see right there, Maurice. So Maurice, if you would, so Maurice, Alex, and Grace, please send me your mailing address of where you want your soil test kits to go for Maurice and Alex. For Grace and Alex, send me your address for the soil test kits. And then for Maurice, send me your address and we will get a stripe action sticker out in the mail to you. And LG, yeah, as far as the Miramichi Green giveaway, I'll work on it, man. I'll see what I can do. Man. It's going to be, that's a tough one. One, because it's a much more expensive product. And also then shipping it, like shipping, whenever I did the giveaway at Christmas time of the Brand Supreme Green, like shipping that thing was super expensive, man. Like shipping a 2.5 gallon jug. Like you guys wonder why lawn care products cost so much online? It's shipping. It's shipping. I found that out firsthand when I sent that out to, I think it was Daryl that won it, but it's cool. It's all fun. You guys support me tons with the super chats and I'm able to turn some of that around and give it back to the community. So hopefully you guys are appreciating it. Well, guys, thank you guys so much. I hope I got to all the questions. I hope I didn't miss anyone. If I did, feel free to drop me an email here at ron@golfcourselawn.com. Again, this live stream is all about serving you guys, about helping you out as much as I can. I really appreciate you guys taking some time out to spend your Friday nights with me. As always, please like, share, comment. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. The live stream will be available tomorrow morning. It's going to be up and available for you guys to take a look at. It's going to be available tonight, but I cut off the intro part overnight and then post like one with all the annotations and everything in there. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button ever so gently on your way out. I really would appreciate it. Costs you nothing and helps support the channel. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great week. I hope it warms up for you guys. If you're in snow, I hope the snow melts. And it's going to be a great season, guys. Thanks so much for the support. I will see you guys next time. Take care.